They've continued to work and grow and implement their program and are setting the foundation for what they want to get accomplished here over the next couple of seasons.
I think one of the most intriguing teams this offseason is the Miami Dolphins.
The Dolphins have the capital to do whatever they want.
They're competing and building a culture.
I believe in team. I would say that. If you want to strive to do something great as a group, you got to work together.
You have a plan, you stay true to the plan, you execute the plan. The Dolphins, this is how you turn around a franchise, like this.
We're trying to build a team that's going to win right now, and we'll be very aggressive.
Welcome to the field, your Miami Dolphins.
We're looking for guys who are tough, who are smart, who are competitive, love to play.
They have landed some big fish. Love what the Miami Dolphins did. You're trying to build something there.
Fitzpatrick throws to the end zone. It is Parker. Darnold never saw the pressure coming, and he is leading. Siki wide open. Touchdown.
Let's have some fun and play together, man. Win on three, win on me. 1, 2, 3, win.
If you can get a group of young men to band together, to believe in one another, to practice and prepare at a high level, then you'll win ball games.
Big man, touchdown, picked off by Bobby McCain.
What's good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we're back here for another one. And to start this one, like last time, I am riding a little solo dolo, so don't mind that, people. But EM will be joining us soon enough. I hope everyone's having a good night. I feel like there's a little bit of delay. Yo, let me know, everyone, if there's a bit of a delay on me or not. I feel like there is. What's good, everyone? What's good, FM? What's good, Rhino? What's good, Powerhouse? I see all y'all in the fans. I'm trying. What's good, Scotty? What's good, Larry? What's good, Jeff? What's good, William? Miami America, what's good? What's up, good? What's good, Dolphin 82? Davin, what's good, homie? Josh Fernandez, what's good, brother? Shake Money, what's good? Latrell, what's good? I see all y'all up in here throwing the emojis, talking to y'all. Matthew Marsden, what's good, homie? Havoc, what's good? Nico, what's good? Havoc, I need to hit you with a wrench. My bad, bro. I've been slacking on that. What's good, big boy? Derek, Sean Jones, what's good, man? What's good, Tony? IB Lame Ronnie, what's good? Nice name. I like that. That's original. That's good. That's good-ish. EM's going to be joining us. Yeah, we will talk about Reason. We will talk about Tua Dolphin. We're just waiting on EM. I don't know if you guys know, but he's out of town. You know, he's just been dealing with some personal things and stuff like that. So he will be joining us in a little bit. He's just got some stuff popping off right now. So we'll kick it. Maybe I'll take some questions or whatever from you guys. We'll get into news and stuff like that. What's up, Rip Tupac? What's up, Troy? We'll just kind of prolong, but don't worry. And yo, hold on. Let me take this moment to personally address Part, because I didn't. Again, guys, not only do I have a 2-year-old daughter, but you know, time's valuable, guys. Time's money for me. So I don't sit there and I don't waste my time on whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? I basically get updates from our mods and I get updates from my co-host. So I don't really watch, you know what I'm saying? I watch Dougley. I watch the homie Great One. You know what I mean? I watch the boys over at On the Phinside, who will be joining us next week. So keep in tune for that. And Josh Houts will be here on Friday, guys. So keep on tune for that. We're still hammering out a time. We'll figure that out. That being said, I got something I got to address. What's up, Clemente? Hold on. I think a couple other people came in. Yeah, what's up, Clemente? So I got something I got to address here. What's up, Adrian? All right. So I got basically told that someone alluded to the fact of, I just repeated what Trent Dilfer went around preaching over a year ago before he was even selling this kid on the draft tour. And that was about how Trent Dilfer, you guys can go find it. It's out there. It's public. I mean, this isn't something that I did with like an immense amount of research. Y'all can go find it for yourself. Trent Dilfer talked about how basically when he had Tua at the Elite 11, Tua basically studied and learned an NFL level playbook in one night. Now, I don't know how thick it was, but that's the exact quote. Okay. So I said that multiple times, because one thing, you talk to players, you talk to coaches, anyone around Tua who knows Tua better than any of us on this platform do, the one thing they always go back to is his football intelligence. And if you go back to the original show, the one where Jason Sarney was on, and I believe we had Esteban and stuff too, and Jason Sarney was getting all passionate or whatever, I specifically said, we all know this, that's the first time where I stated this kid's going to blow it up in training camp athletically. The question's going to be about the game speed, how quickly does he adapt to it? He's already going to be familiar with the terminology because Steve Scarsazian and Chan Gailey, very similar style offenses they run. So there'll be a little bit more terminology, but he'll be familiar with the most part. And then on top of that, I said it's going to come down to how he performs in the chalkboard room. Okay, how does he perform when they go up and they say, hey, and they start drawing coverages and they start drawing stuff? What are you going to do? How is he going to perform basically on the drawing board? Okay, so this was just to heighten that in terms of I stated, hey, this man, you know what I mean? He came through Trent Dilfer. Whatever we want to say about how Trent Dilfer was talented or not, he was a game manager. The guy wasn't asked to push football down the field and throw the ball 40 times. If you're asking Trent Dilfer to throw the ball 40 times, you're losing that football game. Even if you're already down, you're going to lose that in the end. Anyways, that being said, I specifically brought that Trent Dilfer stuff up multiple times just to reinforce about this kid's football IQ, people who are around him. Anyways, from what I understand, people were saying if he doesn't beat out Ryan Fitzpatrick, then we got to reevaluate Tua and how good he is and whether he can truly be the starter because we didn't give Josh Rosen the same. Okay, let me say this to you. Same opportunity. First of all, Josh Rosen got two separate opportunities with two separate franchises. Name me how many quarterbacks get that chance. I'll wait because it's a pretty short list. Off the top of my dome, who? Sam Bradford? But at least Sam Bradford showed you something. He just couldn't stay healthy. So where are we going with this? Because if that's the whole idea, let me ask you this. Why didn't Dan Marino start his rookie season? Why did Woodley start for the first couple of games? Should we have given up on Dan Marino because he didn't beat out Woodley in camp? What a terrible narrative. You don't even have to go outside of our franchise to kill that narrative. Okay? Absolutely ridiculous that that's being spun. Unbelievable. And Rosen, it's not even a good comparison. He started over 16 games. Well, he started 16 games, sorry. I believe he's 3-13. Okay? Between two different franchises, and between two different franchises, he's giving you literally historically bad QBRs, and people want to talk about 9 drops when 9 drops only brings his completion percentage up to about, 61%? And it only comes up to 61% because it's a small sample size. I believe he had, 109, 110 passes? The guy didn't even throw the ball 200 times. Get out of here with that. And if you really want to talk about that, Fitzpatrick finished with the 8th best QBR in the league, and he had the 5th most drops because he had 31 charged against him. So if Fitzpatrick didn't have 31 drops against him, oh my Lord, he would have been top 5 QBR in the NFL. But if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, we'd all have a wonderful day. Doesn't work like that. So this whole narrative that's being spun is absolutely ridiculous. And You know how I can tell when people have watched film or when they haven't watched film? Josh Rosen and Tua Tagovailoa, their college film alone isn't even comparable. They're not even in the same realm, let alone universe. All right? So you can't even go off that. So it's not even comparable. I mean, it's literally not comparable. The only thing people have to hold on to with Josh Rosen is a comeback game against Texas A&M and the Arizona Cardinals, a franchise who, let's be honest, before Kyler Murray and the whole coaching staff got changed up once again, since the Kurt Warner years and a little bit of those Carson Palmer years, they ain't been much. So, I mean, are we really going to have that high of an investment in Cardinals who were known for being pretty off before they basically blew up their whole coaching staff? I don't think so, man. And the whole narrative being spun about Josh Rosen, about if he can. And here's another thing. Let's put it this way, too, okay? Ryan Fitzpatrick has spent 5 years. Let's just round the number out, okay? Let's just say, I know it's Ryan Fitzpatrick's been in the league for 15 years. 5 of those, so 33%, a third, have been in the Chan Gailey system. Put that into perspective, okay? Between the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets, 5 years of his career, Chan Gailey has been a part of the coaching staff. That puts any rookie at disadvantage. I don't care who you are. What's going to show up is Tua Tagovailoa is going to have to lean on his football IQ, his football moxie in the drawing room, and he's also going to have to lean on his athleticism and ability to throw the ball. And me and Ian were talking about this privately. Listen, Tua Tagovailoa was in the building a month before everyone else. Why? Because of the whole injury protocol thing where injured players could report a month earlier. You really don't think – we haven't seen the footage, but you don't think they've asked him to throw the football? You don't think they've watched him throw the football? Come on, you can't be that naive. You cannot be that naive. And I guarantee you, when they saw him throw the football, jaws had to be picked up off the ground. And y'all can say whatever you want about whether I'm hypothetical. I might be hypothetical. I might be you putting out a hypothetical, but y'all know I'm probably right. It's just this is the strangest time of the year, and it's to the point where guys can't even tweet out. Reporters can't even tweet out during training camp. You really think if they have him throw in private sessions that they're going to put that footage out? Nah, they're smarter than that. They're not showing their hand. This is the last coaching staff in the league that'll show their hand. Enjoy it while you saw it because, until reporters, I don't even know what the maybe someone in the comments knows. I don't even know what it is about footage in camp. If footage is allowed to come out even after the fact. What's good, King Mel? I see you showing up. What's good, Shamari? So listen here. First of all, I don't know why I'm being brought up like in that sense, but let me tell you this. It just sounds like someone's mad that Tua learned more football in one night than they know in their life. Put that in your first. Put that out there first. All right? Holla at me. Second of all, yeah. This is such a terrible narrative being spun. Man, don't let the blind lead the blind, people. That's all I'm going to say. You don't have to look outside of our franchise. Marino did not win the job coming out of training camp. The man went on to be a Hall of Fame quarterback and arguably the best pure passer in the game. But, because he didn't beat Woodley out, we must have reevaluated. We should have traded him right away, right? Based on that logic. Stop. That's unbelievable, man. Like, that is just ridiculous. So I can't believe that's even being spun. I can't even believe that's being spun. That's just like, man, I've heard of reaches, but that's I don't know if y'all remember that Stretch Armstrong. Man, that's pulling a Stretch Armstrong from room to room, straight across the house, seeing if you can touch a wall. Because, I mean, that's a reach and a half, man. You can't expect a rookie under COVID circumstances with no preseason games, all of a sudden, if he does, he does. That's cool. But you got to temper your expectations given those current world circumstances in the context of the situation being Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick doesn't only have experience with the scheme and the playbook, he knows what Changeli, the coach, wants and expects. Yet another advantage. And he proved last year he's not that bad of an athlete. So, I mean, he's not Tua. I'm not going to sit here and say he's Tua, but he is not a Tua. But he's not that bad of an athlete at all. And even listen to ball game. What do ball games say? And I agree with him. I think it's usually around week 12. But ball game will say around week 10, 11, 12 is when you start to see Fitzpatrick's arm die. So that means you got 10 weeks of arm from Fitzpatrick, if you look at it. So I just said this. This has been my stance since, and y'all can go back to that. When I talked about all this, I said, when you factor in all of that, do I think Fitzpatrick will start? Yes, but if he does, it'll be on a very short leash. And by short leash, I mean if we lose to New England and we lose to Buffalo, 2 a time. What I mean. I don't mean he's going to be given 6. And guys, you want my honest opinion? Throw the whole Rosen get his value up out the window. It's not going to happen. I do not see him coming in because that short leash. Why is that a short leash? Not because not only do they think Tua would probably have earned it, but they're in win now. Like I told people after free agency, and I repeated after the draft, they turned a 2 to 3 year rebuild into what? Into a 3 to 4 year window. That's basically what they've done with their current free agent class, is what I'm basically saying. It's a 3 to 4 year window it's turned into. And the draft picks and everything like that, it's just everything added to the equation. And if they're smart, and Ogba balls out for year 1 and year 2 and he needs to get paid, next year we draft that edge guy. My problem is I like Gregory Rousseau from but I do not think he's transcendent. He is not a Joey Bosa. He's not a Nick Bosa. He's not a Chase Young. So he's not even – the best edge that's going to come out in the next couple of years is from Oregon, Kayvon Thibodeau. And I don't think Gregory Rousseau is into Kayvon Thibodeau. So I don't even know if I'd make that. And he's going to be worth a top 10, possibly a top 5 investment. And I think I don't know about that. Especially top 5. Top 10, but top 5, he's not transcendent. So I wouldn't take an edge guy based off transcendent. Based off not being transcendent, sorry. Yeah, I agree, FM. He'll beat out Fitz sooner or later. That isn't even the question. I've said that from the get. I have said literally from the get, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. That's what I've said. Like, the receipts are out there. So, I mean, the one thing about us, y'all, is A, we're transparent, B, we're consistent, and C, we don't backpedal because we get proven to be wrong. So we get proven to be wrong, we admit we're wrong, and move on. We won't start backpedaling and hopping on bandwagons. But what's good, everyone? Man, how's y'all night going? Shamari asked Reason asked why TD didn't let him on this morning. That's because TD didn't want that smoke because he would have ended up with lung cancer. You're not going to win on Tua. Like against me and EM, I'm sorry, you're not going to win on anything Tua related. I've watched more on Tua than TD's probably watched film in his life. And that's not even me trying to be anything or me trying to be away or me trying to take a dig at anyone. I've probably watched more on Tua than a lot of people in our YouTube community have watched entire film. Because like I've said, if y'all have repeated me, there's been plenty of times where I've had to watch one snap 5 or 6 times because the first 2 or 3 times I just get caught in a daze watching his footwork because it's immaculate. It's the best, some of the best footwork I've seen. Well, that's not a dig at anyone. That's literally just because I've watched a lot of Tua. Nico EM was going off on TD yesterday. Yeah, EM just goes off all the time. King Million been on a warpath tonight. Nah, man, he ain't. He's just, man, he'll explain himself, but it's just buffoonery, bro. Like, it's buffoonery. Josh, if Tua doesn't start, it's probably because of Belichick. Well, that's another thing. You know, Belichick, what has he only lost twice? I think it's like 2 or 3 times to quarterbacks under the age of 25 in his career. At the Patriots, like as a head coach of the New England Patriots, I think he's only lost to quarterbacks under the age of 25 twice or 3, and that's because what does he do? And that's my issue with the first game. That's my issue. It doesn't matter who's starting on Stidham or Cam Newton. My issue is Tua is going to see disguised coverages that he, like the preparation, like. You want Tua to get a little bit acclimated before he sees a Belichick defense because the disguise, people don't even fathom the disguise coverages Belichick's going to be throwing in that first week. And here's the thing. Go look at Patrick Mahomes. Okay? Patrick Mahomes, transcendent player, won his MVP first year as a starter. What did he say? He said halfway through this season was really when he started reading and recognizing disguise coverages pre-snap. So that's 2.5 years into the league, 1.5 years into the starter as a starter, and that's a AFC championship and an NFL MVP before he even could really fully start to read and recognize pre-snap disguise coverages. Right? So, I mean, so I don't want to hear no nonsense about, oh, well, you did that. Like, that's a guy who just won an MVP. That's a perfect example. Like, he went to an AFC championship and his pre-snap reads, he wasn't recognizing disguise coverages. Think about that. And he would have won that AFC championship game if Dia Ford wasn't offside. So he would have went to the Super Bowl, and I think they would have beat the Rams, and he would have been able to win the Super Bowl without fully being able. That's transcendent, man. That's ridiculous. Rhino. Oh, yeah. Bro, I've talked about this. Can you imagine these same people when Marino came out for us? I mean, really, bro, it was the same thing. If y'all go back, again, Jordan Love. If you go back, as y'all know, we didn't get Tua, I wanted Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love has, he can throw off any platform. He's got a lot of special traits to him. He's got a big arm. He's really super athletic, great size. The problem was he was just surrounded by legitimate garbage cans. And, people, well, Herbert didn't have anything to work with. Herbert had one of the best offensive lines in the country, and he has C.J. Verdell. So why don't you go look at what Jordan Love had to work with this year? It's ridiculous. So, but when you look at Jordan Love, his numbers this year were very similar to Marino's numbers in Pitt in his last year. So, again, if going by that, think of this way. As badly as people didn't want Love, by that same token, they wouldn't have wanted Dan Marino this year. So, because I think Dan Marino had like 22 interceptions or 23 interceptions his final year. And it was more than, I think he only had like 20 or 21 touchdowns. Oh, yeah, I got to get some wrenches out. You're right. Yeah, Herbert had the best left tackle prospect in a decade. Longer, man. I've been on record as saying Penei Sewell's the best left tackle I've seen since Orlando Pace. And that's the thing. Like, everyone gets on the Trevor Lawrence bandwagon, and everyone's like, trade back for a treasure trove. See, here's the thing. If we finish, let's say the Houston pick finishes top 2, top 3, whatever. If you finish, even if it's top 3 and the first 2 are quarterback needy teams, right? Or you finish 2 and the first is quarterback needy team, I wouldn't trade out, man. And the reason why I wouldn't trade out is because, to me, Penei Sewell isn't just the best left tackle prospect since Orlando Pace. To me, Penei Sewell is the best Yeah, I know Josh Fernandez, Herbert ain't even started. Fuck. I mean, did I not call that one? Dude, that guy is, I'm telling you, man, like red flags everywhere. If people actually watch the tape on him, like actually watch the tape, don't watch highlights, red flag everywhere. But, yeah, where was I going before that? Oh, man, sorry. I totally lost my train of thought because I saw that. Herbert. Yeah, Penei Sewell. To me, the problem with Penei Sewell is Penei is the best player I've seen in the last 15 years. That's the problem. He's not just the best tackle. He's the best player, an efficient player at his position that I've seen in the last 15 years to come out in terms of prospect. He's the best prospect I've seen in 15 years to come out, and the best collegiate player I've seen in 15 years to come out. So, yeah, if I'm 19 away from 1K trying to kill it. So that's my problem with Penei Sewell. You know, to me, he's more valuable, especially since we have our quarterback. He's more valuable. And here's the thing. You know, all y'all know, I think we kind of reached on Austin a little bit. Man, at the end of the day, like I've said again since we drafted Austin, you got to listen to more than just my reaction. What I said was he's going to be on the left side, so Tua is going to see that oncoming traffic, so it's whatever. Now, if Austin was our right tackle protecting the blind side, I would have a real serious problem with taking him at 18. But we won't, and here's my thing. If you take Penei, you can just kick him to right and kick in Hunt to guard. Because I think I can't sit here and give you a ceiling on Hunt as a right tackle, but I can give you a ceiling on him as a guard. And as a guard, I could see him as being as a top 5 guard in the NFL. Tackle, I could, you know, if you said top 15, top 20, I could believe you. You know what I mean? The problem is just, you know, is you got no problem getting to the next level and open up running lanes, but the problem is just his height a little bit. You know, what's his actual strength going to be against these power guys in the NFL? And he did have a little bit of a problem with speed guys, so we'll see. FM, do I feel – put this up for y'all. Do you feel this guy is Joe Thomas level good right reason? He's better than Joe Thomas. Coming out, he's better than Joe Thomas. Coming out, he's better than Joe Thomas. No, you know, Dolphin too. He won't prove me wrong because if you told me he'd be a top 15, top 20, I could believe that. I saw a lot of good things. He consistently gets to the next level. The only thing is that Louisiana Lafayette. So, you know, I've showed you guys some of his clips on here, some of his film clips, so that I snagged. So y'all have seen it. And, you know, he's got high football IQ, like y'all saw. Perfect example, if you go back and watch where I brought it up, right? Not only did he make a chip block on that interior defensive lineman, right? But he was, you know, he had enough awareness, football awareness, on-field awareness to recognize that linebacker was moving up and into the running lane. So that's why he stepped up to the second level and took the linebacker out of the equation. And he did it all like that. You know what I mean? Like, and you can literally watch, you know, after he chips his head move and recognize, you know, you can literally watch his head move, make the read and recognition, and then go to the second level and take that linebacker. So, you know, those are the things you love to see, man. It's just about, you know, we're gonna see the next level. So, and you know, hold on a sec. Me and EM said, if you actually think about it, the addition of Shaq Lawson, Curtis Weaver, Ogba, all these guys, it kind of really adds to what you're going to see with these rookies. And what we mean by that is like Austin Jackson, Robert Hunt, they're going to get tested against, you know, because you can even move Van Noy off the edge too, because he played a lot off the left and right edge last year in that 3-4 on the Patriots. You can really test what these guys got, what their anchor strength is, how, you know, we see what the footwork is in the collegiate level, but you're going to see what that footwork is going to be like. Well, they're going to be pressured a lot, so you're going to see a lot of their bad habits probably really quick. so you're going to know what to coach up and coach out. So because, you're going to have all guys with experience, right? Guys with NFL experience that have proven and played at a high level with this NFL experience. So, it's going to be a proving ground, that's for sure. And it's going to be a real good test. So, we'll get into it, TW. He's a top 10. He's a corner. He was Bryce Hall's corner, buddy, this year. We'll get into it. I'm just waiting for EM to see if I give him a little time. We'll get into it, though. Stick around, TW. I got you. Don't worry. But yeah, so okay, it's a Rhino scam. And guys, let me fill y'all in, guys. Over the last day, and I'm looking at right now at a box. I got 2 boxes that would probably run me with shipping, but like 150 because it's eBay and it's COVID and Canada's wilding out right now with these boxes. They don't have anything and they're all on order anyways. Guys, we got some cards coming in and we're going to be hunting for 2. They're all expected to come the second week of August. I've ordered them over the last couple of days. But guys, your boy has been out here spending dollar bills, y'all, because we going on that hunt for Tua. I got some prisms. I got some contenders. I'm looking at in like mega boxes. I'm looking at getting and I got some Sage hits coming in. So I got a whole bunch of guaranteed autographs plus the capability of pulling more. And then I'm looking at some Chronicle boxes right now, guys. So we're going to keep that hunt going up. Just give me some patience in terms of letting them all arrive because it's just eBay wilding out. What's good, homie?
What's good, man? What's going on?
Bro, is that the original like Ryan Tannehill rookie year going on you got right now?
It's a Ryan Tannehill. It's not an original though. It's
no, like the rookie year. Like I'm talking like back when we had the old logo and stuff.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I think it is. My bad. I'm tripping. See, look. Yeah. What's going on, man?
What's good, homie? Everyone's just eager. Dolphin, right now I'm buying my cards. If I can find anything at Walmart, cool. I got a couple hobby shops. Problem is I don't got Targets like y'all do. And the thing is, out here in Canada, it's baseball and hockey. Down in basketball and football dominates down south of the border. So you guys can go to Targets or whatever. I'm actually going to tell EM when we get off screen. I'm going to tell EM he's going to have to start hitting up some of his local Targets for me. And I'm going to be sending him some cash so he can be getting me some cards and we can be opening up on stream because y'all have way more accessible. But Rhino says, EM, best wishes to you, dude, for real. TW says, is that signed, EM?
No. Hey, I appreciate that, Rhino. What's good, Fins Nation?
EM's
what is good?
FM says, EM, drink one for me.
Oh, don't worry. It's gonna be a long night.
Marino's Goat, hit me up on Twitter. Let me know where you're getting these $23 boxes, bro. Let's talk. Havoc. Rhino, I agree, but if Mac Hollins make the team, I will stand in front center and Necro gladly. So obviously there's a Mac Hollins.
Havoc. Excuse me. Benedict Havoc will not let that die, Willie. Oh my God, this guy. Bro. We'll see.
By the way, guys, my mods and everyone, if y'all come by some 2020 Prism scores or whatever, holla at me because I'll buy them. And then let's cover the shipping or whatever. So, because we are about to get this Tua auto, and it's about to pop off on the stream. So, yo, man, how's your night going, bro?
Good, man. Good. Just getting situated, and everything is good, man, for the most part.
Nico says, EM. I saw you calling out the buffoonery the other day.
I'll tell you, this freaking guy, TD.
I said what I had to say about Finsanity saying a little bit of that, her little subliminal towards me. And I addressed the whole Fitzpatrick thing in terms of so yeah, the floor is yours, bro. If you want to get off what you got to say, people have been waiting to hear what you got to say.
You already went in on him.
No. I had to say what I had to say because I think it's absolute. And I brought up the whole Marino Woodley thing. So.
About their trying to put this narrative already. They're trying to jump the gun. And put this narrative out there that if Tua doesn't beat out Fitzpatrick, we should all be concerned about taking him fifth overall. But
not looking past the fact that Fitzpatrick played in the system for 5 years under Chan Gailey. He knows what Chan Gailey wants, the COVID circumstances. Don't take any of that into context. Just he's got to start, bro. And the fact that Belichick has only lost twice or three times out of about 30-plus games to quarterbacks under the age of 25 because of the disguised coverages he throws at them. And I went over about how Patrick Mahomes, year 2.5, year 1.5 as a starter, how we've talked about that's how long it took for him to start to learn disguised coverages pre-snap. So you can only imagine what Belichick would throw week one to any rookie, not just Tua. But the floor is yours, bro.
And last time I checked, he still has that. They only lost one member of their secondary. So last time excuse me. Well, I'm forgetting the COVID-19 issue.
The L linebackers, for sure, yeah.
But anyway, that's a whole nother – we'll discuss that another time. But
we'll discuss in a bit. We got their players. We'll talk about that in a bit. But anyways.
But, yeah, this freaking guy, TD, man, I tell you, man, I don't know what's going on. And the reason why I felt a response to him was warranted was two things. Because he called me out, number one. And two, I was trying to get on his platform to because I think I was the first one he called out on his stream today. And then two, he would, I was trying to get on his platform. I told him to send me a link. He ignored me again. So, and that's fine. I get it. I understand. That's cool. But in regards to Tua Tagovailoa, okay, let's go back to not today, but yesterday. We all know the conversation came up. He and Finsanity were discussing, Tua and, the possibility of him starting. Because they put the article up that Tua stated that he clearly is healthy enough. He's healthy. He's 100%. He's ready to go. My reply was that, they were saying they don't want to hear any excuses about Tua. He says he's healthy. There's no excuses for him. They were trying to sell a narrative that a good portion of the fan base is trying to backtrack, and they're fearful of starting him. You know what I mean? Week one. So my response to him, like I've been consistent since day one, everybody knows the tape is out there. What did I always say, Reason? I said, I'm comfortable with either scenario, whether Fitzpatrick starts or Tua. But in regards to specifically Tua starting, I would err on the side of caution because of the nature of his injury. He's not even a year removed from that injury. So I would err on the side of caution in terms of letting his body heal as close to that year mark as possible, because I just want him. He's a 5th overall pick, and I want us to be in a situation where we maximize every ounce of this kid's potential. So TD responds, I'm making excuses, I'm backtracking, and I forget a lot of stuff he was saying, but it was just basically nonsense. Y'all know TD. Y'all listen to him all day. Y'all know 85 to 90% of everything comes out of his mouth is buffoonery anyway. So fast forward to this morning, I was listening to him, and again, they were talking about the Flores press conference that he had today, the virtual press conference he had today with,
which we'll also talk about, guys.
With the media, and he said Tua is healthy. Tua will be out there. You'll see him out there. He passed his physical. He's ready to go. So when TD was saying, they were like, yeah, Tua's ready to go, et cetera, et cetera. All I replied to his comments was that Tua in all caps, basically saying, let's get it, right? Mm-hmm. So he says to me, well, yeah, to me and to everybody that was listening, that he don't want to hear from me I'm hopping on a bandwagon now. That, you know, I was like, hopping on a bandwagon? Come on.
Yo, hold on. Let me be honest with. Let me put this first, guys. Any bandwagon having to do with Tua in the Dolphins YouTube community, you're looking at the two dudes who are driving the wagon and letting everyone on. Okay,
more than anybody else, bro.
Pushback we got, after all that pushback we got, and after now how people are acting, hopping on the bandwagon, y'all are in no position to even use that Tua and us in the same sentence as bandwagon, because guess what? We drive every wagon in regards to Tua in this Dolphins YouTube community. Holla at your boy. Anyways, continue.
He indirectly implied that I'm hopping on a bandwagon. I'm assuming that now that he's healthy, we should go ahead and start him. I don't know why he thinks I have a problem with starting Tua day one, because like I said, I've been consistent. I'm comfortable with either scenario. I just want him to be healthy as possible. But with that being said, my issue with TD, I don't have an issue with his opinion. The only thing that the issue that I've had with him is that if you have an issue with Tua's game per se, where's the film to substantiate it? We've always taken the approach we've extended that invitation to everyone, not just him. But if you have a disagreement, if you disagree with our evaluation, our personal evaluation of Tua Tagovailoa, get the film and bring it up here, and so the world can see and we can, discuss it accordingly, right? And that's the only issue I've ever had with TD, because his opinion is subjective and it's incorrect. I don't know what film he's watching. He keeps referring back to the film, but I'm still waiting on that film. We're all still waiting on that for him to put that film up. But anyway, so he implies that I'm hopping on a bandwagon about starting Tua. And I was like, bandwagon? Okay, I have a huge issue with him, accusing somebody of hopping on a bandwagon after he sat his behind up here for a year, trashing this kid personally, about his injury, him being made of glass, him being so frail, et cetera, y'all know. And he's made an attempt to criticize his game as well. He made an attempt. He didn't succeed. He made an attempt, because again, we're still waiting on that film that he supposedly has seen to substantiate his theory, his narrative about Tua. But anyway, so he sat up here for a year, and even would go at anybody that had a favorable opinion of Tua Tagovailoa. And for him to sit up here and accuse me of hopping on a bandwagon about this player is utterly ridiculous. I'll tell you, he better be glad he didn't let me on that platform, because I had all day to calm down, and because they had my blood pressure up. I mean, it was boiling this morning. So I've had time to calm down and gather my thoughts and gather myself and contain myself. And it's just ridiculous that he would that he's accusing anybody of jumping on the Tua Tagovailoa bandwagon when he sits, again, a year criticizing this kid, and now all of a sudden that's his favorite player. And stop it. TD, you looking ridiculous, bro. I told you this months ago when you initially came out and said that about, he's my favorite player. No, bro, stop it. But yet he's saying he's his favorite player, but yet you can see in his streams, he'll support Tua 1 minute, 5 minutes later when somebody has a favorable, opinion about him, he's trying to indirectly attack that narrative. And again, I don't know what this personal disdain he has for this player. I don't know if he knows Tua personally. I have no idea. But it's obviously something that he doesn't like about this player. And only question that we've ever asked him, why? And please explain, why you have this kind of, you feel this way towards this player professionally. And again, he doesn't have any answers for it. But for him to call me out, number one, and accuse me of hopping on the bandwagon about this player, I've been supportive of this player since day one. Took all of this nonsense from a lot of the fan base about this player day one. So he's ridiculous when he's accusing me of anything of bandwagon hopping or whatever. But anyway, that's pretty much all I want to say. TD is ridiculous. Again, I want to give that invitation, extend that invitation to him. You can come on this platform or let me in, let a brother in, bro. I didn't do nothing to you. Well, how come? Am I not welcome? Am I not welcome on TD Fans Talk anymore? What did I do to TD? I didn't do nothing to TD.
No, we all know what the deal is, bro.
Why would he let me on? I didn't do anything to him.
Bro, let's be honest with you, bro. First of all, I already told someone asked earlier, A, he didn't want the smoke because he would have caught lung cancer, and B, it's you know exactly what it is. It's indirectly related to what went down in terms of between me and him, bro. You know, even though you didn't do anything, even though you stayed out of it, bro, and it shouldn't even have been anything to stay out of. But even though you stayed out of it and stayed neutral, I
don't have no issues with TD. I still support everything he has got going for the most part. I just don't understand why is it when I say let me in, give me a link, and I doubt today his platform was crowded because Phinside was the only one that was on the panel with him. So
my bad. I forgot. Last time it was too full.
Yeah, it was too crowded.
This time I bet he didn't see it, bro.
Yeah. Last time it's too crowded. So I don't know what he's got. That's fine. If I get that I'm not priority on his platform, and that's fine. But I still support TD for the most part until he calls me out and he's spewing foolishness. Now I'm gonna call that applies to anybody. If I feel that you're spewing foolishness, hey, I'm gonna address it. That's anybody, and I expect anybody feels that I'm spewing fools, check me about it. Let's dialogue about it. So, but other than that, I don't have no issues with TD. I don't know why he wouldn't let me on a platform today. It was ridiculous.
Vic, if you want to know I'm surprised you don't know what happened. If you want to know what happened, Vic, go back. I think it's like episode 36 or something like that. It's called The Full Story. Watch that. And it's after this video he did like the day before called like Real Talk FinFam, where he gave everyone half the story, not even. And then I came out and basically he put me in a position where I had to come out and tell everyone what actually happened. And I had to show receipts and I had to show everyone how it actually went down. So, Vic, kind of a fugazi situation, brother. I don't know what else to say about that, bro. It is what it is. Don't let it be what it ain't. And at the end of the day, man, we're out here. We're doing our thing. I'm doing my thing. That's why y'all see me even involved in the comments or even tuning in. I'm not even a subscriber over there anymore, man. Like, it is what it is. This man over there, he got up in his feelings. Things, he escalated things nonsensically. Like there was no reason whatsoever for them to get escalated to where they are. He's done nothing to repair it or even, extend an olive branch because I guess sitting at 8,000 or 9,000 subscribers means you're too big for that kind of stuff. So it is what it is, man. It ain't I don't have resentment. I don't have hatred. I don't live off that energy, man. It is what it is. I keep it moving. But here's the thing, guys. See, we're transparent, but we're also very direct. And when we're direct, and when you say something that we don't think the film lines up with or whatever, it doesn't matter who you are, not only will we call it out, but we'll give you the platform to come on here and prove us wrong. Mm-hmm. And that's the difference where we're running out here. EM today got called out, but he wasn't given the platform to state his case. Instead, the platform was used to just call him out and kind of, troll him in that sense. So if you're going to call people out, it's like my dad told me, whether it's on the street, I take it, I came up I was born in the 80s. So I came up in a different time, back when I was 10, you called people at their house line. If they weren't home, that was it. You didn't go out and play with them on the street. You had to go hope they came out, because if their mom or dad answered and said, yeah, they're not home right now, SOL, you got to go out and make other friends. So I came up in a different time where, if you were going to be direct, if you were going to call someone out, if you were going to do whatever, well, if you're going to have the BALLS to call someone out, you better have the BALLS to bring on and accept the response. Because
it's ridiculous.
That's not. I mean, I wasn't. I don't rock like that.
And that bothers me too. When you be one thing if you never would have called me out by name. You know what I mean? If he would have just, took his indirect shots at me or the platform or whatever, like he chooses to do on occasion. That's one thing. But you call me out by my name, bro. At least let me get on the platform to state my case. But I hate that when you call me out and then you don't let me on. That way you can manipulate anything you want about the narrative. I hate that, bro. And that's one thing that bothered me a lot when we were on this platform, when he would just be able to.
You remember, if people who have been around remember, guys, there's a history of him doing this to EM. Even when we were all cool, he did it to EM over that whole scheme fits thing. When we were on here, when we were preaching about how big scheme fits mattered heading into free agency, if y'all remember, and it was all about Chase Young. It was actually about the Chase Young draft pick and how, if you look at what Chase Young did, he was mainly asked in a 4-3 defense, pin your ear back, go get it. He wasn't given other responsibilities like coverage, going out into the flats. He wasn't moved along the line. He was basically just lined up off the edge, go get the quarterback. And if you look at what we want to do with edge guys, you got to be versatile, right? And you got to be able to move around. So you're going to have a lot of responsibilities in this system. So that's why we were saying schematically, Chase Young is not a fit. Yes, you can coach him up, but it's going to take a year or two because he's now coming in. Even the base difference is even the base is different, let alone what the responsibilities they're going to ask of him that he hasn't displayed on tape. So when EM and I basically stated this, next thing you know, a video came out where EM and I weren't giving a platform, and it was called "Scheme Fits Don't Matter." Yeah. And it was basically, scheme fits don't matter. We can just draft anyone, And
he's calling us out by name. He's calling us out by name in the video.
And he didn't drop the link. So, we're always down. Every time we've talked about Tua, every time we've talked about whatever, we've said, you've got your statement. We've watched, like I said before EM joined, it's not arrogance, it's not cockiness or whatever. It's just, me and EM probably in this community have watched a lot more Tua film than most people have probably just watched game film in this Dolphins YouTube community. I'm not talking about like Travis or Kyle Krabs or those guys. Just stick to content creators in this YouTube community. That's not arrogant. That's just kind of facts. And so when we sit here and say, we're not seeing this one read thing, et cetera, we're saying, bring it here, show it here. And we're still waiting. There's nothing but crickets and tumbleweeds rolling by. So, and we've offered that platform multiple times, man. So it is what it is, man. Like, it's just nonsense, straight buffoonery, bro. But,
Yeah, but, I agree 100%, bro. It's just when you call me out, when you call people out specifically, I don't want to hear from EM, and he goes off, EM don't know what he's talking about, et cetera, that bothers me. You don't give me an opportunity to at least come on and again, tell my side of the story. You know what I mean? I hate that how he just, how he, even in the past, like you just alluded to, he would just manipulate everything the way he saw, the way he saw fit. I don't like that, bro. So, but it's cool. That's his platform. I'm not speaking for you. I'm speaking for me personally. I'm not on there. I'm not a priority on there. And again, and it's okay, But when you call me out, bro, you know me, TD. You know me personally, okay? You know me. I ain't running from nobody. I ain't claiming to be the biggest, baddest dog in the yard, but listen, you ain't gonna punk me, homie. Anybody, you ain't gonna punk my football aptitude. I'm sorry. So when you call me out, bro, at least let me come on there and state my case, and that way we can, it can be a healthy, exchange. But yeah, man, that just bothered me, homie. That just bothered me a lot, bro. But it's all good, though. It's all good.
Big Dick Cheney, ego ain't your amigo. I like that.
What's that?
Big Dick Cheney, ego ain't your amigo. Ego ain't your amigo. But yeah, it is what it is.
Good. It's all good, though, baby. It's all good.
Yeah, and I got another thing. I heard that Pete was in there, Life is a Gamble or whatever. Bro, you actually in a chat earlier, bro, You actually in the chat earlier telling people Rosen is the best pocket quarterback we have on this roster, my friend. I recommend you go watch some Tua film ASAP because Rosen doesn't have the pocket awareness, can't climb a pocket like Tua. People look at here's the thing. People look at Tua and he's 6 foot and he's athletic. He must be a scrambler. No, Tua is a pure pocket passer. Look at Drew Brees. Drew Brees is 6 foot. He's a pure pocket passer. He's just in an offense that manufactures space for its receivers. Tua is a pure pocket passer. Like the footwork, the ability to climb the pocket, the awareness of when the pocket collapses around him. Like if you look at Tua's injuries, they're actually outside the pocket overextending plays.
Can we get some film? Can we get some film? You know what I mean? I mean, seriously, I'm not trying to be funny. Everybody comes in here, they make these, these statements. Can we get some film? That I don't want to hear what your opinion is. Please, can we get some film to substantiate whatever it is, whatever narrative that you're putting out in this Dolphin universe? Can we get? I say that can we please just get a little film? That's all I want. I want to be educated, just like I'm making the attempt to educate anyone. I want to be educated too. I don't know everything about this game. I'm learning. I take the approach every day about football. I try to learn something every day.
Yeah.
Okay. Analytically, film wise, any aspect of football, I'm trying to learn like everybody else. So when these people come out here and make these statements to try to make themselves look smarter than what they actually are, okay, try to make their aptitude a lot larger than what it actually is. Please, can we get a little film study? Can we get a little film? That's all. Well, I don't understand why is that a problem. If you're gonna put yourself out there, and if you're gonna put yourself out there, and especially when you're coming at people, can we get a little film? That's all. That's it.
Yo, and I wanted to. I see what's his face here. Aquavision. Even Ballgame didn't want to. Well, here's the thing. If you actually remember when COVID started, Ballgame is actually on record. You can find the receipt, the video receipt. Ballgame said he watched the film of Tua finally. He sat down and watched the film. An exact quote was, "I can understand why Reason and EM want the kid so much. He's special." That was Ballgame's exact quote after he watched the film. His thing is, like Rhino mentioned, I believe, he's got personal ties to Rosen, but he's also you're dealing with a defensive-minded individual.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's the difference. He's very defensive, heavily minded, or he wants that tackle.
And to be fair to Ballgame just didn't want a quarterback at 5.
Yeah, that's it.
He just didn't want. He wanted, and again, he's a defensive-minded individual like me, as I am. But we disagreed. We just had we just parted ways on as far as that position. Down. For the future is concerned. He's got personal ties to Rosen. Initially, he was saying, well, he was trying to spin that narrative like similar to TD's about he didn't have it given a fair chance, et cetera, et cetera. But he's even come out publicly and said, well, you can't argue with the film. You can't argue with the analytics. You can't argue with the statistics. You can't. People lie. You know what I mean? I might lie. You might lie. My next door neighbor might lie. But statistics do not lie. Film don't lie. Mm-hmm. So he's come out and he's, softened on that Josh Rosen investment that he initially felt we should continue. But TD is just, I think at the end of the day, as far as TD feels about Tua, it all goes back to that buffoonish narrative he tried to spin about Josh Rosen being our franchise quarterback after he made 2 decent throws in 3 games. And he's holding on to that for dear life. Not only him, though. I got to call you out too, homie. The not so great one. Shout out to you, homie. If you listen, shout out to, I saw your video about our quarterback situation, and he is willing to go down with that boat, that Josh Rosen boat. And he was saying he still, has a chance. He still, I think he can thrive in this offense, et cetera, et cetera. And that's fine. That's his opinion. But at the end of the day, TD wants to be proven so right because he's been proven so many times so wrong, especially within the last 6 months, about the narratives, not only about Tua, but at our team in general. He's tried to spin to our fan base. He's been wrong on so many different accounts. It's ridiculous. And then they hang on to this. Why, in my opinion, why people they view him and they think his football aptitude is a lot, might be a little larger than what, they think it's a lot larger than what it actually is because he was right on one account where he got lucky. He said it's a possibility that, Laramie Tunsil would get traded. So the fact that he was traded, you got a large portion of his fan base thinking that took like a lot of analysis and, anything related to, anything football related. He was just lucky on that opinion. He gave his opinion that he could possibly be traded. He got traded. He got lucky. So people think that he's a lot more knowledgeable than what he is. And they say, well, TD picked, like somebody said in the comments today, TD was right about Tunsil. Can you name anything else that TD was right about? To be honest with you, he said we wouldn't select Tua Tagovailoa, right? What happened there? Okay, he said that when we were making the case about, and I didn't even want to go down this road, but you know what? I'm gonna go down this road about what our base defense was months back. Do you recall, Reason? You can back me up on this. He pushed back on, just on so many different issues. Base defense, offensive approaches, the Tua film, different players that we potentially could be targeted in free agency. He was wrong on so many accounts. So I guess he's trying to hold on to this Josh Rosen narrative.
Well, I mean,
dear life.
You look at
dear life.
Let's just look at free agency in the draft. You literally called Calvin Noy and Byron Jones
to a T.
I educated everyone and called Curtis Weaver in October.
To a T.
I literally, before we went live and I was on that panel, I literally called Raekwon Davis at 56. Before the Noah pick, my exact quote was, watch them pick that kid out of Auburn that we can't pronounce his name of, Noah pick. If you guys go to the mock draft we did right before the draft, we educated everyone on Robert Hunt and Solomon Kinley and how we like those fits. Boom, they picked them. Benito Jones, if y'all go back to our top 5 defensive tackle board, Benito Jones, we struggled with putting him or Raekwon Williams from Michigan State at 5, and that was purely based off schematic, that top. And who was number 3 on that behind Javon Kinlaw and Derek Brown? Raekwon Davis. So we literally got 2 of our top 5, top 6 scheme fits at defensive tackle between UDFA and the draft. They went out and got them.
But he's saying, but like he said today, EM don't know what he's talking about football. EM don't know what he's talking about. Really? Okay. So again, I think as far as
you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? If Gates didn't jump the gun, we'd be talking about Ashton Davis, as well on that list instead of Brandon Jones.
So again, I'm not here to say who was right about this and try to compare football knowledge. That's never been my approach. But when you call me out and you say, I don't know what I'm talking about, I don't know what I'm talking about football, come on, man. Stop it. Stop, bro. Stop.
Man, you know what it is? It's all about, all this shit gets called, all this stuff gets called on watching film and scheme fits, man. That's it.
Yeah, man. It's just ridiculous. One thing when my approach, when I listen to anyone, ball game, people, guests we have on the show, one thing I do is I listen first and foremost. And if I'm not knowledgeable about a certain, like I defer to you a lot on the quarterback position because again, I'm a defensive minded individual. Mm-hmm. So when I'm studying film,
vice versa.
When I go into when I go into digging into players, I always gravitate towards the defensive side of the football. That's just my nature. Okay. So, but if I'm not knowledgeable about a certain thing, I'll defer to whoever that is. It could be somebody in the comment section. It could be Larry on his platform. You know what I mean? But I'll listen and I'll educate myself and then I'll re-engage at some point. But the difference with TD is that if you bring an issue to him about football and he has a limited knowledge base, he immediately tries to attack you. Him and Phinside are guilty as that. They are. Bro, Reason. What if I were to share our private conversations over the last year? I think people would have a different outlook on TD's approach in his mindset. If I went and made public our private chats that we've had over the years, okay, about what people have declared, when they declared it, and the pushback that was received because TD didn't know about this particular player, didn't know about this particular scheme or whatever. And then actually a month later, whatever we were saying, it comes to fruition. And then he's got egg all over his face at that point. So again, I didn't want to go down this road, but you called me out. You say, I don't know what I'm talking about, TD. You said EM does not know. Y'all heard him say that multiple times over the last year. EM does not know what he's talking about. Okay, you're right. But you're welcome anytime on this platform to re-engage in front of the people. Because I remember when he I'm sharing too much now. I'm saying too much now. But you're welcome. We can re-engage and you can come on this platform. And I will still humble myself and I will go on anytime. I will be happy to go on TD Foolish Talk and we can re-engage this conversation, bro. Anytime. So hey, listen. It ain't nothing personal. It's business. I got much love for TD personally as a man, much respect for him. He knows that. And what I said here or any time in the past, this is nothing y'all haven't heard that I've said on his platform. So y'all know one thing, you might like me, you might hate me, or you might not. But one thing you can say about EM is that he is consistent. So it is what it is. Hopefully, I would love to readdress this just to a situation, publicly on either on this platform or on his. Hopefully, he'll let me on because I'm going to continue knocking on that door. Continue to knock on that door. You can keep that door locked if you want to, but that's fine. But I'm going to continue to try to come on this platform whenever he's spewing nonsense, and especially when you call me out. So hopefully we can re-engage at some point and just have a healthy exchange about it.
Bro, you know what this is? This is a perfect segue. Because if you guys will remember, you can go back 2 months ago. Again, the receipts are out there. What did EM tell y'all? EM told y'all that we were going to be looking by scheme fit. Michael Deiter should get a look at center.
A year ago.
And again, the third or fourth report now to come out, and now we're into training camp, came out by Barry Jackson, and it says right here at the top of his six-pack, a year after starting 15 games as a rookie at left guard, Dolphins offensive lineman Michael Deiter is about to get a look at a different position. According to multiple sources, the Dolphins plan during training camp and potentially beyond to give Deiter work at center, a position that he played early in his career at Wisconsin. The former third-round pick will also be used at guard, one of the sources said, but the Dolphins are eager to see how Deiter plays at center. So let's go beyond the draft, where I just put up all the comments about people who've been around, saw how dead on I was. Let's go beyond free agency and how dead on EM was. Now already you're starting to see declarations like this come to fruition. So EM, I hate to be the one to stroke your ego a little bit, but look, for a guy who doesn't know anything about football, the fact you could call out something like this with such preciseness, man. I mean, damn, between this and free agency and how we educated people on the draft, you must be just throwing things at the wall and hoping they stick. But I can't believe the amount of accuracy you have, bro.
No, bro. Listen, it's not that serious. It's just again, if you have, if they go, if
you everybody gotta troll, bro, you got to troll.
And everybody that was like that listened that follow TD's platform since he had that Tuesday night panel. My message to the Dolphin fan base was that my approach was always try to educate people on, number one, philosophies, schematics, build a foundation there. That way, whenever you're, evaluating players, like for the draft, if you do it as a hobby, like that's how I started doing it as a hobby. It's still a hobby for me, or even just playing Madden, bro, to be honest with you. Build a foundation, start a foundation from there. That way you can more accurately, when you're going into free agency and you're going into the draft, you can pick out players, okay? Because generally, especially with this coaching staff, generally coaches do pick players that fit what they like to do within the confines of their scheme. So my message and if y'all can recall, that's been my consistent message to the fan base. What do I always say? That way you get out of that Madden Ultimate Team 2 a.m. Sports Center highlight mentality. Anybody that knows me knows I've been consistent with that message. But you can't do that unless you have somewhat of a knowledge base, you know what I mean? Fundamentally, schematics. That way you can accurately pick out players that we have a more realistic approach in your evaluation on players that we can potentially target in free agency and the draft. That's been my message to the fan base. That's really the only reason why I hopped on TD's stream, because I felt that his platform was not going in that direction. I think he was selling. His approach was more Madden Ultimate Team 2 a.m. Sports Center highlight based, and I tried to contribute, a more realistic approach to player evaluation, schemes, skill sets, et cetera, et cetera. So with Michael Deiter, I just thought Michael Deiter specifically, when the year he came out, okay, when I dug into his film, okay, what I saw was an athletic player. Okay, he was very good at Wisconsin, very good in the run game, and I just, I identified different traits that he had. And so fast forward to when we drafted him, and he started 16 games for us last year, 15, I believe. What I noticed with Michael Deiter, that he struggled with, functional strength. You know what I mean? He got overwhelmed when he faced a player that was just that much more stronger than him. And I just felt like the athleticism was there, the technique was there, the aptitude was there, because he played center at Wisconsin and he performed at a high level when he was there. But I just thought that if he got his functional strength, obviously he's still going to have to get stronger. He even admitted that. And they said, I read a report that, his body is, he was a little pudgy when he came into the league last year, but his body is more shapely now. He's still 310, but he has a different tone to his body. He's stronger now. So I just thought that he had the fundamentals to play that position much better at left guard at this point in his career. And it's refreshing to see that, not because, I was proven right or whatever, because I just think Deiter has that. He has a very good skill set. I think he'd be a productive player. And I think if you transition him to center, okay, I think he will, before you get the production, and you can start getting a return on your third round pick investment that you made with him in that 2019 draft. So it's refreshing to see that, because I think he can excel. Actually, I even think he can, if they give him a legitimate chance to at the starting job, I think Deiter can win it. I agree with Ballgame. Ballgame said that on our show a couple of weeks ago. One thing, a storyline that one of his two storylines was that Michael Deiter would wind up starting, wind up coming out of training camp as our starting center. And I do agree with that if he's given a chance, because I just think he has a skill set that Ted Karras doesn't. I just think he's a little better in certain areas. So, but yeah, it's refreshing to see that. I think Deiter can be a productive player, you know what I mean, at that position at this stage in his career. So yeah, it's real cool to see that, man. And hopefully it's a seamless transition, and he can, we can start getting a return on that third round investment, bro.
Mm-hmm. So Kenny Zapata asked, reason do you think Tua will start if he balls out, even if our O-line isn't gelled? So this is what I wanted to say earlier. So, because I said it to Dante Colorado, the homie, on Twitter. See, subjectively, we can all agree. If you look at it subjectively, no matter who you are, injury or not, we pretty much want you to sit for a year and rest. But again, if you go back to that show where Jason Sarney got a little overly passionate, what was I saying? You need to start looking at things objectively. Start thinking about how other people – that's how another factor about how EM and I have been able to call these people is we're thinking not only about the scheme fits, but what do the coaches highlight and what do they look for athletically or as a player, versatility, all those things. And then we basically match those up. And so when you look at Tua, he fits, he's a scheme, people don't talk about quarterbacks as a scheme fit, but he's a scheme fit enough. He's a scheme fit. I think it's going to be, man, I don't think it comes down to our O-line. Like I said, I think it comes down to how he performs because objectively, again, if you look at it, what did Flores say when he went back to Fitz last year? We're going to field the guys that give us the best chance to win. And if Tua shows that he's going to give them the best chance to win ball games in training camp, then O-line gelled or not, right or wrong or not, you're probably going to see Tua sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Again, excuse me, bro. I had to burp. Sorry about that, bro. But I'm comfortable with either scenario. Again, like I said, I think we're not giving Ryan Fitzpatrick, enough credit for what the season he was able to put together last year, in particular in the second half of the season. I think, with the line stabilizing and we can establish a running game, because again, I've been consistent. That is the number one issue of the 2020 Miami Dolphins is establishing that running game. And that applies if Tua is starting or Ryan Fitzpatrick, either one, even Josh Rosen for that matter. The running game, when you have a successful running game, they can consistently get 4 yards a carry. That's the best friend of a quarterback, especially a rookie quarterback. So with Ryan Fitzpatrick, I'm comfortable with him starting. I would rather see him starting because I think we can even see an improvement on what he did last year. I mean, I don't understand why the fan base they can't comprehend. They don't understand that. They don't think that that's a possibility. The fact that if you consider the season he had last year, led the team in rushing, okay? He had the season he had, 8th in QBR last year, okay? In the NFL, in the entire NFL, and he's got other very impressive analytics considering the lack of the most pressured quarterback last year and the worst rushing attack in 100+ year history of the NFL. I don't understand why people don't think he can improve upon his numbers, his overall statistics with improvement around him. I just don't understand. They apply that to Josh Rosen, but they don't apply that to Ryan Fitzpatrick. It makes no sense to me.
You know what it is? It's because people have seen – here's the thing. Because people have seen Fitztragic so often, they don't believe in what they saw fully in that last stretch of last year without realizing that, if you look at the context of the situation, what's came out, when you dive deeper into the whole Chad O'Shea having a really, we've talked about, receivers got, their route trees, are instead of having, route trees with, 3 to 5 routes, these guys are having 6 to 8 routes on the route trees. Mm-hmm. And when you look at, just how complicated the offense came out, I talked about how veterans were struggling with it. If you guys do the timeline, it makes sense and it lines up with Fitzpatrick started picking up the playbook, and that's why the success started happening. Exactly. And another thing is, when you look outside the playbook and the scheme, one thing Flores preaches from everyone, quarterbacks included, is structure. And EM's talked about this multiple times. If you look at Fitzpatrick last year, he had the one thing you saw, especially in that stretch where we went on that little winning streak, where we won a lot of games, it was because of the structure you were seeing in his game in terms of A, Fitzpatrick didn't pop his head, and B, he wasn't in a turnover machine. So the issue is, I think the fan base doesn't believe he can A, repeat the performance, and B, repeat that performance consistently throughout the full length of a season. But all I got to say to those people is you saw what his capability was with a little structure in his game under Flores. If he continues structure, stays in that lane, stays structured with his game, stays aware, protects the ball, and then you mix in the fact of how comfortable, familiar he is with Chan Gailey, the coach, the person, and his playbook and scheme, then you might actually have a, 28, 29 touchdown season with, 12 or 13 picks.
And also, Reason, one thing that TD and Finside were talking about, they were killing him over his first 2 games. Look at the defense, like you just alluded to, first time in that offense. And I think to be honest with you, it took Fitz longer to get in shape. We all saw what kind of shape that dude was in the OTAs. We all saw that. You know what I mean? So, and also the team as a whole, it was so much influx, players. They were trying to implement different philosophies, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work. Offensively and defensively, the entire team underperformed. And look at the 2 defenses that he faced last year. The Baltimore Ravens, top 5 defense. New England Patriots, historically great defense.
In that first half.
The first 2 games, out of the gate. So why didn't they throw Josh Rosen out there? Why didn't he play them 2 games? But again, they were trying to kill him. They were bringing his statistics up for the first 2 games, but they're not taking into consideration the quality of opponents that he faced with all the issues that were going on internally from OTAs and spilled over into the first half of the season. So they're not taking that into account and just looking at the first 2 games and trying to kill him for it. But again, he showed resolve. Okay, they benched him. That's fine. You put Rosen in there, and they saw, okay, as bad as Fitz played the first 2 games, Rosen was like 2 times as worse. So what happened was that Fitz showed a lot of resolve last year because a lot of people would have folded up, bro. A lot of people, especially an established veteran like him that's been in the league that long, he's got millions tucked away. Anybody, I would have not blamed him one bit if he would have said, you know what, I do not need this. See ya. But he showed a tremendous amount of resolve, bro. Yeah. And we saw the product, how drastically the product improved on the field the second half of the season. So I just don't understand why a good portion of our fan base are so dismissive of the fact that this dude, we could see an improvement on the year statistically that he had last year with improvement around him. I don't understand that, but they try to make that case for Josh Rosen. But with Fitzpatrick, they just dismiss it. Oh, it's not possible with him. It makes no sense, bro. Absolutely makes no sense at all.
Let them know. So I just want to, before we're going to continue on to the news, guys, but just we got some donations popping off. Shout out to Quentin Riddle, who's messaging me during that little
Quinn, what's good, homie?
Quinn saying, can't we all just get along?
We all get along. It's all good.
Yeah.
There's no beef.
People got to recognize, like I see Pete popping off. Pete, like, just because we talk about it doesn't mean we got hate. I'll be honest with you. That type of person isn't worth the type of hate. So I don't.
Hey, what TD called me out. TD called me out. Listen, what transpired between he and Reason, that's what it is. I addressed him calling me out. I didn't call him out on this platform. He called me out this morning. So hate, what are you talking about? Hate. Why didn't you address that to TD? He's the one that called me out. I tell you, that dude really gets on my nerves. I'm gonna be honest with you.
And that dude Ace Ventura, who just showed up to troll, like, bro, we've got 1,000 subs since the end of March, and all we've had is a little draft, and we didn't even go live for the draft and try and get that traffic. So, and we've in the middle of a pandemic, we've been able to get to 1,000 subscribers without even a snap of football.
What did he say?
He's talking about how y'all been going for 4 months and y'all just getting 1,000 subscribers. Like, bro, there hasn't even been a snap played and we've gotten 1,000 subscribers. You know how many people? One of my boys has 100,000 subscribers off a gotcha game, and he's a sports fan and he's amazed at the fact that we've been able to get 1,000 subscribers with no football and a pandemic-ridden world, with the draft that was basically done on TV and we didn't even go live for. So, I mean, again, shout out to Quinn.
Haters gonna hate. Haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate because someone got to do it. You go hang out with the eye test. Quint Riddle, you received $25.66 for Quint Riddle's message. Can we all just get along and support all you guys? Quint, egos kill friendships and relationships. That was left with me. If you go back to episode 36, The Full Story, I told him to reach out because last I checked, he just left it be when I last hit him up. So the ball's been in his court. Shout out to Reginald Jordan for the $10 donation. Shout out to Joe.
Shout out to you, homie.
For the $3 donation. We appreciate all the love, all the support, guys. You guys are freaking amazing. We can't say it enough, man. You guys are awesome. Every single one of you out there, even the haters, man. We appreciate the people that just take time to roll through, spend some of their nights, man.
Absolutely. Man, these haters, bro. Man, I tell you that. Woo-wee! It's all good, though. It is all good.
See here. Yo, check this. Read that for you, bro. Because this is all I'll say to you, FM. If you actually go look at the numbers, the Miami Miracle and the panel made him the other guy. If you actually go look at it, when you go by the numbers, the Miami Miracle and the panel are what made him, bro. And that's real. And that's keeping it a buck. And I keep it the panel. That includes ball game, whoever. You know what I mean? That was part of that whole group that we had. That's what made that. So, I mean.
The other guy made us. Wow. Okay.
What's out? Carlos trying to pass off that Fitzpatrick going to opt out of the season.
He said what?
What's up, Marino's GOAT? Shout out to you for the donation, bro. Appreciate you, homie. Yo, hit me up on Twitter, bro. Let's talk. Let's even talk about some cards, man. Yo, he's saying breaking news: Ryan Fitzpatrick opting out of 2020 season for safety reasons. Let me confirm.
What? Oh, what? Are you serious? Is he trolling right now?
I think he's trolling because as of 4 hours, Joe Shad said no Dolphins have opted out or went on COVID list today.
What if Josh Rosen opts out?
Yeah, really.
You might as well. You might as well.
Yeah, really, bro.
Man, I hope he is trolling. Well, maybe not. That'll definitely pave the way for Tua, for sure.
He's saying it's going to be announced tomorrow, but
ask him where's he getting this information from? Well, where are you getting this information from?
And you know what's crazy about no Dolphins making the top 100? Laramie Tunsil, Jarvis Landry, and Minkah Fitzpatrick did. That one stings, huh?
No,
and
definitely.
And Tannehill, too. I guess you could count him.
Definitely Minkah, though. Like I love Laramie Tunsil, but I get why. I mean, you offer 2 first-round picks. I mean, how can you turn that down? But Minkah, I get the whole soap opera. I understand what went down. I get it. You know, I'm not trying to debate who was right, who was wrong, but I just hate that we let a player with that kind of potential
And now we're trying to fill it. Now we're trying to replace it.
Yeah.
So some big news yesterday, bro. We already reported Marcus Cannon had opted out, but then Dante Hightower opted out. Patrick Chung opted out. Brandon Bolden and Danny Vitale opted out, bro. As well as offensive lineman Najee Troan. So you go look at the linebacking core in New England. Jamie Collins is in Detroit. Kyle Van Noy is in Miami. And Dante Hightower, God bless him, he's got a young family. I totally get it. He's sitting at home, brother. All of a sudden, the holes are starting to add up over there, bro. It's almost as if that
Definitely.
Someone posed a question today, and I'll pose the question to the chat, and I'll pose the question to you, my friend. If Tom Brady was there, would these players be opting out?
That's a good question. Good question.
Guys, I want to hear your opinion in the comments section. If Tom Brady was on this team, would these players be opting out?
I think I'll say this. I can't speak for those players, for those individuals. They have their own situations going on with their families and whatnot. Totally respect it. Totally get it. But I think if 12 was there, the decision would have been just a tad bit harder to make, I think. Because if you got Tom, as much as I can't stand aside of Tom Brady, but you got to respect the man's game. I think they would, the decision would be just that much more difficult to make. Because as long as you have Tom 12 sitting back there, you got a chance. So I think at the end of the day, these players are, they're
human beings.
Yeah, exactly. And, they're veteran players. Dante Howard's 32 years old. Patrick Chung is 32 years old. These players are up in some age in football years. And so I'm sure they looked around. They looked at Jared Stidham, and they probably got a couple of practices with Cam and was like, oh, hell no. Why risk my life for that? No. So they opted to, I'm kidding, right? I'm trolling right now, but I'm just saying, I get it. But I just think if Tom Brady was there, it would have been a little more difficult for him to make. But who knows? They probably would have made it. They may not have. They might not have. But I know if Brady was there, it would have been more difficult to make. The decision would have been.
Yeah, because if we say here, bro, it's funny. You say what you just said. My thing with Tom Brady, the other thing about them being stacked up, having money is, if Cam Newton was as good as everyone's claiming him to be, wouldn't they just be as hopeful? Like, that's my question here, bro. EM has frozen, it seems, guys. And that's the question I'm going to pose to all y'all. If this man, Cam Newton, was as good as everyone out here is claiming, wouldn't all these players be hopeful that they still have a chance? It just doesn't make sense to me. So that shows you where their mind is at. They pretty much know that they probably aren't winning a Super Bowl this year. I don't want to say that's a foregone conclusion, but the writing's pretty much on the wall for them. So it's all love, guys. And EM is back with us.
Sorry about that, bro.
No worries. So, yeah, that's where I was going, where, if Cam Newton is really as good as everyone's making him out to be, all these people, why aren't these guys why don't they have hope in their team and therefore sticking around? Obviously, it's funny the way you said it, but that right there should tell you everything you need to know about that situation is all I got to say.
And either way, these players opting out, you can't hate him for that, bro. At the end of the day, safety is the priority. Your family is the priority. Football is secondary. So,
yeah. And bro, months after ongoing knee surgery, Xavien Howard is still not ready, and he's been added to the physically unable to perform list. The word is that he will be available by the start of of the regular season. But, I said to you privately, with what we saw from Needham last year, if this is something that extends into the regular season, as I said on Twitter yesterday, until X comes back, Needham is our corner too. If you look at this, if this extends into the season and Needham, his trajectory continues to be upwards and he grows upon and builds upon what he did last year, as much as we all want to see Byron and X isn't a Flores guy, right? Needham in a way is. So this is one of those things where, we got a steal, as you mentioned before, in X in the second round. He's a first-round talent, but he had the knee issues. This becomes an issue, and Needham is given more snaps, and he balls out. My question to you is, how do you see this playing out?
Man,
because me and you were already worried. Me and you, whenever we talked about him, we always talked about him in the tense of if he gets back to that 2018 form. This isn't exactly a good start.
I agree. It's definitely concerning to see this report today, man. We all know how I feel about Xavien Howard as a player. But man, that knee, it's been an issue since he's been in the league, bro. And it's definitely concerning. But your Nick Needhams of the world, your Noah Benagani's of the world, hopefully Cordrea Tankersley at some point. All the other cornerbacks, on our depth chart for that matter. It's next man up mentality. It's a chance for these guys to for Nick Needham to, reestablish himself, to show that he can be that top flight guy. You know what I mean? I think we can all agree for the most part that he has the ability to do that. We haven't seen Noah, play a snap, play any NFL quality snaps yet. But it's just the next man up. It's concerning to see. I think at the end of the day, I don't think it's that. I think it's a big deal, but I don't think we should be, I don't think the alarm bells should be going off in terms of, him being available for the season. I think the shutting him down at this point, just as a precautionary measure more than anything. Do I think there's an issue? I'm sure there is an issue, because if there wasn't an issue, he would be given a full go. He would be been given a green light to practice. But I don't think it's. Hopefully, I'm hoping that it's not as big as a lot of people try to make it out to be, and this is more precautionary and just allow him to, rehab and get, as healthy as he possibly can be. And also, again, this could be just so they can get, with the lack of OTAs, with the lack of training camp, lack of not training camp, but lack of preseason games, there's an opportunity to get these young guys, Noah's, this guy we just picked up off waivers, Davis, I forget his first, Javaris Davis, whatever his name is. Hopefully Cordrea Tankersley gets back. And then, all these other corner players that we have on our depth chart. You never know. So this is an opportunity for them to step up, establish themselves, show the coaching staffs what they can do. And if we find a diamond in the rough, hopefully that's Nick Needham, he can reestablish himself. Now you have Xavien Howard as a depth piece. I told you what my ideals.
I was going to say, let me ask you this, because we're talking about his knee, and obviously it's becoming an issue again. And when you're mirroring receivers, especially athletic, fast ones, good route runners, you got to keep up with them in terms of the cuts and the pivots in the grass. And he already has displayed really good ball instincts and pretty good, he's pretty good at jumping routes because he reads the quarterback's eyes and their head. So for a coaching staff that's known for converting corners, lay it out for people right now.
I was just going to say, I expressed this to you privately. My ideal scenario with Xavien Howard, no matter what, not this year so much, but next year, I would look to convert him. Everybody's always talking about Nick Needham and Noah being able to play in Cordrea Tankersley, being able to play free safety. I think Xavien Howard would be the ideal if you're going to convert one of these guys, and they love to do that. Again, and I think the reason behind that is because of the heavy deployment of man concepts. I think Xavien Howard would be ideal at free safety. He's got the athleticism, he's got the size, he's a very good tackler. Obviously, we know what kind of player he is when he's healthy, but I just think he has better ball instincts than anybody on the roster. I think his ability to diagnose, he's consistently put that on film. We've seen him, he's consistently put on film how his ability to diagnose, read what the quarterback is doing, act accordingly, make a big play, and, make a big play, pick sixes, getting, multiple interceptions in games, making big plays in general. And those are core traits that you want a safety to have, especially a free safety. So I just think Xavien Howard, in my opinion, now his contract, I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I'm just saying me personally, and the fact that if you put him there, that can protect that bad knee somewhat, because you're not consistently locked up on the opposing team's number 1, 2, 3 guy. And again, this is a scheme that deploys heavy man concepts and that consistently cutting, transitioning in and out of breaks, that puts an enormous amount of stress on already a bad knee. But if you put him at safety, okay, especially in that single high roll, you're not, you're minimizing the stress that he could potentially be, I'm talking play after play after play that he could be putting on that knee. So that'll protect that knee. And so hopefully that'll give him, a little more longevity, as far as, that'll be better for his, his durability issues, and hopefully add a little more longevity on his career. Devin McCourty is a perfect example. Perfect example. He was the player on the boundary that Xavien Howard is when he's healthy, but he was a very good corner, okay? Had injury issues. Bill Belichick, converted him from cornerback to free safety, and look at him. He's been playing at a Pro Bowl level since he's made that transition. So I personally think Xavien Howard is a much better. He has a much better skill set than Devin McCourty ever had. So I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if it was me, I think if you're looking to make a conversion,
you'd at least give it a look.
Oh, absolutely. And that might, and this coaching staff, how they are about concealing, what their actual plans are. This could be in the works and we not even know about it. This could be. So I'm just saying, me personally, and then you got 2 years left on his deal, I believe, at a team-friendly, cap-friendly number. Okay, why not entertain that? You've got, especially if these other guys step up. If Noah, steps up into that number 2 role, or Nick Needham.
You know what I think we could go in those heavy sub packages? Don't be surprised if they use Brandon Jones as that high middle inside linebacker.
No, absolutely.
In those sub packages, right in that box. Because did you see the report today about Isaiah Simmons?
No, I didn't.
So I guess they were talking to Isaiah Simmons today, and they asked him basically what he's been studying his playbook, like what he's been studying in the playbook. And basically it sounds like he's either going to be it sounds like he's going to be the Mike. Because he said he's been studying and learning his playbook as the inside linebacker. So, I mean, a lot of people wanted him for that safety ability.
Mm-hmm.
End of the day, he ended up getting slotted in as it looks like they're going to use him. I think it's going to be. You know what? I go back to this, right? Like, if you go back and you look at what's his face. I've said his name. It's slipping my head right now. The safety linebacker who played for Mark Barron. You remember Mark Barron?
Oh yeah.
For
From Alabama.
Yeah, and for the Rams, the Rams deployed him in a similar way, right? They'd use him at the safety position, and then when they'd go heavy DB packages, he would run as their linebacker basically.
And reason I've been consistent about that. I think that will be the approach of the Miami Dolphins this year, which is why the heavy investment was made in the secondary. You're not making that kind of investment for these players to just sit on the bench. No, they've got plays and personnel groupings diagrammed to implement all of these top flight man coverage cornerbacks, situationally. So I think that'll be the approach of the Miami Dolphins, in my opinion.
And here's the thing: you've seen Brandon Jones' athletic profile. He could be a great quarterback spy too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just put if you're facing a Mahomes or a Lamar and you're going heavy, DB packages them, use them as that mic and just roll them in heavy spies, right? Especially against Lamar. Definitely. So, let's continue on here, bro. We're gonna go into next. Let's go into. So basically, let's go into a little bit of Brian Flores' Zoom conference right now, because something he said, they asked about the health, safety, and all those procedures and stuff and what's going on right now. So basically said, there's no real point in dwelling on the lack of games of practice. We have to make the most of every opportunity we go out there. And the healthy guys are practice, and the guys who aren't won't. And those practices reps are going to be very important this season. I think every rep's going to be important. Every walkthrough rep, every practice rep. We won't have preseason games. That's all we've got. I don't think there's any point in dwelling on it or being upset about the circumstances. We have to make the most of the opportunities that we're given. So every rep individual, those are evaluations. And the improvement those guys make in practice and walkthroughs are going to be what either keeps them on the team or doesn't keep them on the team. So he's kind of giving you a little bit of, he said right here a little bit, Flores acknowledges that incumbent starter Ryan Fitzpatrick has more experience and probably knows the offense better than Tua or Josh Rosen, but he's not crowning Fitz King QB at this point. He says you always want competition in training camp. Every position is an open competition. Some players are further ahead than others. Gee, I wonder who he's talking about with that. We'll all understand that, but there are no jobs that are going to be handed out. So, that's another thing. If Tua starts, he earned it, right? So he said, my message to the players has been really about making good decisions, being responsible. I think they're going to have to make some sacrifices outside the building and inside the building. If we can do that, we've done everything we possibly can to limit the spread of the virus. There are some challenges, but I think we're trying to meet them head on and do the best we can with them. So you take that in, brother, and in terms of the quarterback composition and him saying, some people are ahead of others, and how competition is going to be key and how every rep matters. What a weird and what a different circumstance it's going to be for these guys and the evaluation that they're going to need to do, right?
Yeah. Definitely, man. It's this COVID-19 culture, this COVID-19 situation is definitely drastically altered how teams do things, especially this time of year. And I agree with him. Every rep is going to be that much more important because, again, this is not a traditional season. Every team is dealing with the same issues. COVID-19 has totally turned this league upside down, and franchises have had to scramble to implement some sense of structure, some resemblance of how they normally would do things. And it's tough, bro. Not only on the players, but it's tough on these coaches as well. So, yeah, these players, I hope they're taking this should be more, they should be taking their craft serious to begin with. But with this COVID-19 situation and how it has impacted the league, I hope on all levels they're taking their craft that much more serious, because, these players, it's only a limited amount of time for them to be able to evaluate, players accordingly. So, but I do think, I've been consistent about this as well. We talked about this months ago. I think they have a contingency plan in place, a structure in place to where they can get a firm enough evaluation on players that they target and they think they want to make a further investment in. So I agree with him 100%, and it should be that way. Competition. I wonder who he's talking about. Some players are ahead of others. Wonder who. I would love to be on a fly on the wall to buzz through his window and post up on his wall and overhear him and Chris Greer talking about their quarterback situation. Man, I would love that. But yeah, Tua as well. All of them. Tua, Fitzpatrick, Josh Rosen, Flores is about that business. He showed the world last year.
And
he's
bro,
about that business, bro.
And bro, sticking with his Zoom call, he confirmed that Tua is cleared and ready to play. He said he's through the physical, and when we do get to practice, you'll see him out there. I know there's a lot of people wanting to talk about Tua. I understand it, but at the same time, he's a young player. This is his first NFL training camp. He's got to take it one day at a time and not think about what's realistic for the season. I think we have to take a one day at a time approach, which has been my message to him, and it's not just him, it's every player on the team.
Again, Flores is about that business, and I don't want him to coddle too. I've been, as much as I love Tua talking about Lois, Alabama.
Yeah, we said we don't want him to be bubble wrapped.
Alabama's film, okay? So let me clarify again. As much as we love Tua's Alabama's film, I said this weeks ago, I don't want to discuss anything what transpired at Alabama. I'm evaluating him as a Miami Dolphin from here on out. So just like Tua or any player, I don't want anything given to any player, Tua included. He is going to have to come in here, put his head down, and get his behind to work just like everybody else. And you will, if you earn it, okay, the job will be yours. If you don't, guess what? You're going to sit on the bench, you're going to learn, and until you get up to speed. Just like that applies to any player. Tua, Josh Rosen, Raekwon Davis, Byron Jones. So I'm glad they're taking their approach with him. That's the approach they should take with whether you're the number one pick in a draft or you're an undrafted free agent. That same approach should apply to everybody. So I'm glad to hear him say that about nothing is going to be given to anybody. No, your draft status shouldn't, solidify, your roster spot. No, you got to earn it just like everybody else. And I'm glad to see him, stand firm on that philosophy. And he's preaching. He showed us last year, on if, it's not a matter about draft status. It's not a matter about your contract or whatever. Again, he was hiring dudes that was working at Lowe's on Tuesday, coming in for a workout on Friday and starting them on Sunday. So I'm glad he has that approach, bro, because competition is just better. It creates, it makes everyone better, in my opinion, except for Josh Rosen. But yeah, I'm glad to hear him say that, bro. Glad he's taking that approach.
There's the Patreon link for you, Vic. There's the Patreon link, www.patreon.com/Phinside the NFL. And I want to shout out, actually, right now we got about 7 patrons. and I want to shout them all out, man, quickly before we head on here, before we continue on. We got a couple more pieces of news to get through, guys, but I want to shout out, obviously, Rhino and Infinite Trauma at the veteran level. These guys were our first 2 patrons. I want to shout out our homie Fake Spike. He's at the $10 MVP level. I want to shout out Shake Money. He's at the $15 franchise player level. The homie Joe B at the $10 MVP level.
Joe, where you been, homie? Shout out to you.
Shout out to KA all day at the $15 franchise player level. And shout out to our new patron from a couple days ago, I believe 2 days ago, Ramon Casillas. Shout out to you for joining the Phinside, the NFL patron. And shout out to a couple of you who have messaged me some topic ideas. Yeah, we're gonna fit those in, guys, in due time. Appreciate y'all, and shout out to UK all day specifically, because when I break some more boxes, those Jalen Hurts cards will be coming to you and your wife's way, brother. You can count on that, my friend. And guys, if you want to donate directly to us through PayPal, there you go, paypal.me/Finside. Hit us up there, but I know people were asking about the Patreon, so there that is. And guys, hit that like button. It helps us in the algorithm. Appreciate you guys. And subscribe if you haven't. Last I checked, we're about 19 away from 1,000. And guys, the cutoff to enter to win a Tua Tagovailoa jersey is on Friday night. Rhino, if you're in the chat, which I think you are, hit them all up in the chat right now in the comments with the link to the Tua giveaway. Go follow that link. Go follow those instructions. 3 different ways to enter. 4 entries total will get you into a draw for a Tua Tagovailoa Aqua throwback, guys. So continuing on. Whoa, continuing on here. Yeah, almost ended the show, guys.
I bet that woke everybody up.
Bro.
I know, me too.
I want to show a video here because, guys, a projected top 10 pick in the NFL draft, the top corner on a lot of people's draft boards, man. You know, Caleb Farley out there from Virginia Tech. He was, if you guys remember, Bryce Hall, who came out this year. This was Bryce Hall's corner duo buddy. And actually, I got to reshare the video because I don't know if I put audio on. But I want to play this for everyone because I'm going to then field the question for EM as well as everyone in the comments section. But let's play this video first. I want everyone to hear why, because he had pretty good reasoning, man. I got to give him that. I know everyone's a human. Everyone's got their own reasons, et cetera, but I want people to really listen to what's at stake here, man. So, yeah, let's check this out. It's only 46 seconds.
After much consideration with my family, I have decided to opt out of the 2020 college football season and began preparing for the 2021 NFL Draft. I am opting out due to uncertain health conditions and regulations and all the other opt-outs going on in football right now. I tragically lost my mother, Robin, January 2nd, 2018 to an illness, and I cannot afford to lose another parent or loved one. The competitor in me badly wants to play this season. I cannot ignore what's going on in my heart, and I must make the decision that brings me the most peace. So thank you, Virginia Tech, my coaches, teammates, and anyone else who has supported me in the past. I wish you all the best and stay safe.
So, brother, I got to ask you, you know, he's lost. You know, you got Dante Hightower opting out because he's got a young family, a newborn. You got Caleb Farley now, a college player who he's put enough film out where I don't even think Patrick's, you know, it's going to be neck and neck, but I don't know if Patrick Surtain could probably pass him this year. When you look at, you know, he's put out enough good tape that he's probably going to be the CB1 still. And he's training for the draft now. That's his primary focus. So, guys, I'm going to field this to EM, and I'll field it to you in the comments. Is this potentially the beginning of a new trend because he referenced professional players opting out, if you read the context of that. So is this a possibility for now juniors and seniors? Not only do I want to risk my health COVID-wise, but why risk injury as well when I can just train and go ahead? Do you think this could be a trend? Because this is a projected top 10 first-round draft pick. This isn't just some 5th, 6th, 7 possible UDFA.
You wanna before we get into that, you wanna open things up so we can get another perspective from somebody in the comments, maybe wants to get on here and talk about it, get a different perspective. We can. I'm just saying, if you want, it's up to you.
Yeah, let's do it. We got one more piece of news, and then we'll do that.
Cool. But in terms of, he's obviously going to be a projected, high draft pick, definitely first round. I support him 100%. I mean, why risk? And really, I haven't heard anything about the NCAA season this year. Have you heard anything about what their plan, what their intentions are as far as the season? And, if they're planning on having one, I mean, literally, I've heard nothing. I'm sure they might be planning on having the season, but in terms of safety and all of these different, are they going to have fans in the stands or what? I haven't heard anything about. I think
certain colleges, I think, have opted out. I know Marino's GOAT just said, "Reason I have lupus. If I get the virus, I won't make it. This time it's not the same for everyone."
But I don't blame him, especially he's projected to be a first-round pick. If I'm a first-round player,
a top 10,
especially a top 10 player.
Like Trevor Lawrence could probably opt out and he's still going 1 overall.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I support him 100%. If I'm in his shoes, I'm not taking that risk either, bro. I'm training. I'm going to go get that NFL training a year early, a year sooner, get ahead of the draft, and just enter the 2021 NFL draft. You know what I mean? I'm not going to take that risk, especially he just lost a parent in 2018 to an illness. So no, I'm not risking that. If I'm at that level, no. I'm not doing
like Scotty Joe just said, college is canceling non-conference games.
I haven't heard anything as far as the NCAA is concerned. I mean, absolutely nothing. So.
Okay, and then we got people starting to show up backstage. Guys, I'm going to drop the link. Drop backstage. We'll cover this. We'll get your opinions on this, but we'll just cover this last piece of news, and then we'll bring a couple of y'all on to hear what your guys' thoughts are. So the last piece of news is a little bit of roster moves, EM. Today we claimed Ray Smith off waivers from San Francisco, originally with Detroit, and they waived Ryan Lewis, who did flash at certain times, but again, another guy on that list a couple days last week that we went over of guys who could be potentially cut. And they reactivated Benito Jones off the COVID list, which shows that he must have been in close contact with someone that may have contracted it. So what are your thoughts on that big boy? He's an absolute mammoth of a human being, Ray Smith. And what do you think about the Ryan Lewis cut?
Well, Ray Smith, I did a little research on him earlier, and he's an undrafted free agent. I think the Detroit Lions drafted him in 2019. I'm sorry, they signed him in 2019. And but then, they sent him to the practice squad, and I guess he was picked up by San Francisco. But I looked up this kid's measurables, and, he's got good size. I think he's like 6'6"-ish. I'm sorry, 6'4", 6'5"-ish. He's about 305, 310 maybe. And but he's apparently extremely athletic for a man that size. I think at his pro day, he clocked in at a 4.9 flat in the 40-yard dash. He had a 35-inch vertical leap, I believe. Did well in his 3-cone, did well in his 10-yard, did well in his broad jump. So the kid's got athleticism. Don't know much about him other than what I found out today. But I'm going to research him a little more. But I will say this: him getting drafted by Detroit in 2019, we talked about this privately. Matt Patricia is the head coach of the Detroit Lions. So they deploy a very similar scheme. So him coming here, okay, he's got familiarity with the overall defensive scheme. You know what I mean? So I don't know where I think he's a little, and I saw a report, his pre-draft evaluation was that he's a little undersized to be, a zero technique, prototypical nose tackle. But I don't know where they're, what vision they have for him as far as where they're going to deploy him. But he's got good size and got very good athleticism for a man that size. So, again, another athletic player, another investment on the talent. Okay, just needs to be taught. You know what I mean? He needs to be, he needs to be refined, just like any player. He needs to get stronger. So, but the fundamental athleticism, the fundamental traits are there, according to his testing. So, we'll see. If he's this year's version of Zach Seiler, we'll see. But the talent is there. The talent is worth the investment. So we'll see how it all.
Is Mac Hollins worth the investment, EM? That's what I want to know.
Oh my God! Absolutely, he's worth the investment. Absolutely.
It's gonna be an interesting year. That's it, because things are gonna pop up all over the place, all over the NFL, week by week. You have no idea who you're gonna be playing, which leads me to.
You guys chop it for a sec. I'll be back in 1 minute. My daughter's crying.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Benedict.
Go ahead, Benedict. I see the new nickname you got for me too. Hold on, Benedict. You out here calling me Benedict because, first of all, I was out here doing commentary on your game, out here telling the truth, and now you're trying to divide. You talking about these narratives? You're talking about these narratives being construed. Now you construe the narrative about me. I am not a Benedict. I'm calling it the way I see it.
I hear you, homie. I hear you. I just think you were just a little too flavorful with your color commentary. Just a tad bit, bro.
That's what I bring, though. I'm here for flavor. I couldn't do play-by-play, homie. You didn't want that either.
I hear you. Hey, you already know how I feel about your home. You know it's all
bro. You know it's all.
You already know. You already know.
But
what do you think? What do you think about this cornerback opting out, man?
Bro, it's first of many. Yeah. This is something no one's really talking about. Maybe this might be on the conspiracy theory tip, because we know, Bill Belichick isn't on the rebuild vibe, right? He's not trying to break it down and build it back up. But if we're in a situation that we're in now, where maybe guys will say, hey, coach, I don't really want to opt out, but if my family might need me, and well, if you need me to play, I'll play. And Belichick's like, what, man, just stay home. Stay home. Dante Hightower, he can stay home. Marcus Cannon, he can stay home. Hey, all y'all feel free to stay home, because I ain't tanking, but I ain't telling y'all got to play either. You know what I mean? Yeah. A little bit of a backdoor rebuild might be on the way in New England. Is the way I see it.
You know what, homie? I would have to agree with you on that, bro. I would not put it past Bill Belichick.
No.
And it's the perfect excuse, the perfect opportunity. And again, I didn't think they were going to have a successful season. Well, as successful as people, like I saw on Get Up the other day, they were projecting them to win like 10 wins this year. I was like, man, I mean, and we're not even talking about the guys that opted out, but look at the players that left in free agency. I mean, these were big time players. And I mean, again, like I said, even before these players opted out, I didn't think they were going to be as successful as people was thinking. But now, definitely top 5. I can see them picking in the top 5 next year. I mean, really.
It's interesting because today I was watching like a little compilation on punt return touchdowns like the past 10 years, and I saw Edelman in a few of those. And the Edelman that's on that team now, that ain't the same one.
No.
Same one.
No.
You're talking about an offense that, to be kind, is lacking at skill position players. And quarterback wise, I know Cam was a former MVP. I know he was, the big dual threat, the ultimate goal line cheat code. I don't know if that Cam still exists. I see the workout videos, slickly produced workout videos, just like I've been seeing these Jakeem Grant workout videos the past few years. If workout videos could play, Jakeem Grant would be an all-pro. But at the end of the day, and it's like I say it over and over and over again. You got to look out for these look the part all-stars. That's these guys. You're looking at the measurables, you're looking at the past success. But if you look at the NFL, they don't base contracts based on what you did. They're based on what you're gonna do in the future. If we're looking at the landscape, particularly at the landscape of our team, a lot of cuts that you might have seen in a regular season, you're not really gonna see in this season. They may, some guys that are on the bubble, your Isidoras, guys like that. If they're not on the 55, you're gonna see them on the reserve COVID list. If they have eligibility, you might see some guys, slide over to the practice squad. So hey, Matt Collins, he may not have to work at Baskin Robbins. He may have enough football passes this year.
Oh my God!
So,
hey,
anything is possible.
Shout out to the homie Matt Collins. If you listen to homie, that's not me out here criticizing you, homie. I'm riding with you. You already know.
I hope Matt Collins has not been listening to me the past. I hope he hasn't. I'm not.
Oh my God. Oh, that's funny.
But we got a lot of promise at the wide receiver position, though. That's why I'm excited. That's why, if it was last year, I'd be like, hey, let's give it a look. But if you look at our UDFAs, Kirk Merrick have an impact in terms of if Jakeem Grant, once again, he's showing the butterfingers when it comes to the kick returns, the punt returns. Merrick can slide in that role. You got Matt Cole as a legitimate gunner. Maybe not necessarily a wide receiver, but a legitimate gunner on the special teams, which, for a rookie, if you can get a guy that is already has that mindset, that's a win for us. And I like the potential of Gary Jennings too. I haven't seen a lot from him, but I like what I hear about him. So I'm excited, bro.
I would agree, bro. It's going to be difficult, not only for Mac, but all of them. If you're not Devontae Parker, Albert Wilson, or Preston Williams, it's going to be everybody else is fair game on the depth chart as far as I'm concerned. So it's a log jam. There's a lot of talent, a lot of athleticism, which is a good thing. But it's going to be difficult.
For a long time. A lot of talent.
Oh, exactly, bro. A lot of speed, and a lot of guys. You just don't have one type of. You got a lot of different dimensions. You know what I mean? You got the tall guys. Even though Devontae is. He's a bigger guy, 6'3", 6'4", but Devontae had, he's a 4'4" guy. Preston Williams, 6'6", 6'5", 6'6", or whatnot. Then you have your more quick, smaller guys that are quicker.
Albert Wilsons of the world.
Albert Wilsons of the world.
Yeah.
Jakeem Grant, Kirk Merritt. So I like the fact that we have a lot of different type of body types that we can throw at teams in terms of matchups. We just don't have one specific profile that we have. So I think that's going to be, I think people are not realizing how advantageous that's going to be, during the season. So especially if they go heavy spread, like Larry likes to seem to think that they that Chad Gailey will go.
They're even trying to create red zone mismatches with the tight ends too.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Now that's a big target with some hands.
Absolutely. And he's athletic. Another big fast guy.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I tend to, when people talk about football players, when they bring up things that aren't football related, I tend to hesitate. So like with when people are talking about Sheen, they're like, "Oh man, he was a basketball player." It's like, What tight ends aren't basketball players? Tony Gonzalez is a basketball player. Antonio Gates is a basketball player. Gesicki is a basketball player. Every tight end is a basketball player, right? That's just like it's kind of like what they do to when you're talking about agile tight ends. It's like when they talk about like white wide receivers. It's like, oh man, he's shifty. Like these little, you know what I mean? Like these little terms they throw out.
Yeah.
But I mean, if he can stay healthy, our goal line package, you're talking about you can have a Shaheen, a Gesicki, Preston Williams, Devontae. I mean, we can. It's jump ball offense in the red zone for us, possibly. So a lot of things to look forward to end the season. Most importantly, I was looking at Kalen Ballage's his college stats. He wasn't that good in college either. So
go look at Myles Gaskin in college. Myles Gaskin was a beast in college.
Gaskin, he went to Florida, right?
At least Myles Gaskin got
Washington. He went to Washington.
Okay.
At least Myles Gaskin got the college film to back it up. Like Myles Gaskin was an absolute beast in college.
Yeah, I mean, I'm struggling to see the place on the team of a guy that had one more broken tackle than me last season.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the size of it.
So real quick,
passes.
Shay,
I was saying
Shay, what's good, homie?
I just said that. I said he not only did he have one more broken tackle, but he ducks passes when it comes his way.
I know. People talk about his body and his size, but he, for a person of his weight and his humanly power, you would think he would play with a little more pep, a little more umph.
But what good is that being that athletic if you're not even talented enough to get the ball in your hands?
I mean, it's one of those things where I'd rather have a less talented player with instincts than
exactly.
Just
Laird. Laird. Laird can not only here's the thing. I talk about Clay and Ballage all the time. You literally need your offensive line to be like Moses and part the Red Sea with the staff.
Yeah.
But at least Laird, he's not as athletic. He's not as athletically gifted, okay? But he has better vision.
Oh, definitely.
He can if there isn't a hole there, he can either make one or bounce to the outside. And but the problem is he's just athletic profile. You wish Kalen Ballage had Laird's patience and vision and awareness, because then Ballage, you'd actually probably have something with Ballage.
His shiftiness too. Laird, one underestimated aspect of his game, he's very good in open field. I mean, he's shifty. And he might not have great long speed, but he has excellent hands and he can make people miss. And
I mean, there's a market. There is a market for a third down back that can give you a little bit of run, a little bit of pass, and in general will do what you say without question. And I think, if you're looking at a situation where obviously Howard and Breda are going to hold the load for us this year, probably more Howard than Breda. There's a place for a guy like Laird that can fill in, do a little bit of what Howard does and do a little bit of what Breda does.
So so here you go. We just talked about wide receivers. We just talked about running back. Where do you list Malcolm Perry?
I list Malcolm Perry as slash. That's his role.
You have to list him on the depth chart.
That it doesn't. I'll say it like this: don't look at the depth chart as.
No, what I'm saying is he's going to affect a cut. What I'm saying is if you list him as a running back, you're not going to carry 5 listed running backs.
You already know.
If you carry him as a receiver, he's going to be that 6th or 7th receiver on your depth chart that could be taking a spot from a Matt Cole or whatever. So, or do you try and move Rosen and list Malcolm as your number 3, and you basically, like I said before, that money you spent on Rosen last year with bringing in a quarterback coach, you spend that money again, but you spend it on a quarterback coach to improve Malcolm Perry's mechanics. So when he actually comes in, he can actually throw the football as well.
I think Malcolm Perry can carve out a role where he can be your emergency quarterback. He can not necessarily take a lot of snaps at running back, but propose that be that threat, right? Like Antoine Randall swore he could have been a quarterback in the NFL. So there is a role for a player who is shifty, who has some hands that can run a little bit and can throw the ball. If you can, I'm not saying a little bit of a few things makes a football player, but a little bit of 5 different skill sets, they can find a role for you, especially if you can find a role for him immediately in terms of special teams. But in this current landscape of the NFL, you need a gadget guy. You need a guy that when
he's our version of Taysom Hill.
Yeah, like if you're running out the pistol, you bring back the Wildcat. There is a legitimate passing option there. If you have him lined up a wide receiver, you do the old end around, you flip the ball to him, you have a legitimate quarterback level guy throwing the ball to a wide receiver that can throw a little bit.
And that's why I said I see more Wildcat implementation with him, because see the reason why the Wildcat is not like, teams only use it, they don't use it that often, is because there's really no threat, because they're using running backs in a as far as in the quarterback position. So the threat of the pass is not there. But with him, he's a legitimate quarterback.
Yeah.
So the threat of the pass is consistent. So you can see where that would be teams.
Taysom, bro. It's
Taysom Hill, exactly. Taysom Hill, exactly. So the threat of the pass is there. So that'll make that Wildcat package more more of a threat to defenses.
Yeah, I mean,
two roles I would like to see him. There's two roles I would like to see him as well. There's 2 roles I would like to see him as well. Is either underneath the puncher, or as a place kick holder too, for fake punts and fake field goals.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Like when you do the punts and you line I think that's the benefit of a guy like Perry.
See, to me, this sounds like, guys, even when you add in what Shake Money sounds like we're naming a gimmick quarterback. Like the more I'm like, because think of it, you can line them up in the slot. You could line them in a 3-set backfield anywhere in that 3-set, whether it's quarterback, running back to the right, running back to the left. I mean, you're not really going to use them on the boundary. I know someone's in the comments right now talking about his 4.63 speed, but that's what we just mentioned. He's got short burst, and you want him to get the ball in the open field. There's guys like a perfect example. Jalen, it was Jalen Reagor. Remember when Jalen Reagor tested at the combine? And if you look at what Jalen's combine numbers in the 40 were compared to the speed you see on tape, there's plenty of guys where they go out, because remember, the 40-yard dash is literally something you have to practice for, because it's actually like a mini track and field. So it's not, you're not just in open space running around. And that's why a lot of people want to see like Ashton Davis and stuff like that test. But anyways, what I'm saying is, if you watch it, there's plenty of players throughout the history where if you watch them on film or you watch them live game time, they're faster than their 40 time. That's why they talk about 40 time and game speed. And when you look at Malcolm, he's one of those guys. I'm not out here saying he's about to run a 4.4, but when you get the ball in his hands in open space, he's dynamic enough to make things happen. That's the whole goal with Malcolm Perry, is you want to get the ball in his hands in open space so he can create. That's the whole premise of him. And all I'm sitting here and saying is polish that by making him a better quarterback with an investment in a quarterback coach to work on his mechanics, because it was clearly something not stressed at Navy. That's all. So in 2 or 3 years, he goes from being our 3rd-string quarterback gimmick guy to a legitimate second guy behind Tua, who's a gimmick threat. That's all. That's it.
And that Randall L comp was pretty spot on, Havoc, because Randall L wasn't the fastest guy in terms of his 40 time, but he was a very shifty, very good in open space. A la, like Randall L. He reminds me a lot of Wes Rucker on tape, to be honest with you, and wide receiver. He's shifty. Okay. Wes Rucker was a slug bug too, but get him in short areas. Oh, he was dynamic. We all know. I mean, he was he put up like 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons.
You know what I mean? You're just gonna ask Perry to do things over the short to the like really, really short intermediate level.
Yeah.
And then, hey, the ball gets in your hands, go do something. That's what you're going to be asking that guy to do.
Yeah, I mean, and especially when you talk about the Wildcat, what made the Wildcat so effective for us was the fact that Ronnie Brown could pass a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And he's lefty.
Exactly.
Hey, shout out to my boy because that's what I'm rocking
right. Ronnie Brown, he put in the real work for us. But I think if you're talking about Perry's role, I mean, the Renaissance man, jack of all trades, that's his role. If you want to, develop him as a quarterback and bring him along so he can be a legitimate option standalone as a quarterback, that's great. But because that's kind of what the Steelers did with Cordell Stewart. Even though I would say Cordell Stewart, size wise, had a little bit more on Malcolm Perry, but he came in as a guy. I mean,
he wasn't a very good passer, even when they did those deep playoff runs. He really wasn't. You didn't ask him to do much outside of the intermediate and short levels, man.
Yeah, I mean,
and coincidentally, he also paid for Chad Gailey as well.
There it goes. So I mean,
I tell you.
Antoine Randall was very talented at the wide receiver position, though. Stand alone as a wide receiver / punt returner, kick returner. He was highly talented.
My thing is, I don't want to listen as a wide receiver because I don't want him to cost me a body like a Merritt.
That's a fact.
I tell you what's going to be interesting though, if that report is correct, what that whoever said that about Fitz opting out tomorrow.
I don't think so. Rhino was just saying he was watching Channel 7 where Carlos was saying he heard it and nothing was mentioned.
Well, if that is true, where does Malcolm Perry go on the depth chart, on the quarterback depth chart?
He goes 3.
Yeah. I mean, either way, even if we carry 3 quarterbacks, he's still going to be the emergency option, But I think we need to have a real conversation about the big homie Jakeem Grant, because he's a guy. When you look at the tape, you look at the workout tapes, you look at him physically, and you're just like, what is missing? What is missing? I mean, a guy with that type of athleticism, if we're in a squeeze, and I know when you're talking about cuts, you're talking about guys like your Isaiah Ford and another guy who I'm not mentioning because I do not want to antagonize EM, but I think if Merritt has a good camp and Matt Cole is our gunner in terms of special teams, and Gary Jennings can be a slot option for us, which if Tua is our quarterback at some point during the season, that's a guy we can actually utilize. Do we need to have a serious conversation about what is Jakeem Grant's role on this team, particularly if Kirk Merritt is out here returning punts and kicks? And his cap charge is $6 million. If you cut him, that's $3 million dead cap. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And I know you look at him and you think Tyreek Hill, he ain't that. He ain't that. I mean, you want him to be that, but he ain't that. So I'm just putting it out there. It's not necessarily putting us in a weird cap position. But if he comes to camp and is the same player we know him to be, and Merritt, Cole, and Jennings all merit a spot on this roster, what is Jakeem Grant's role if Merritt is out here returning kicks and punts?
That's interesting.
Well, that's all I'm saying.
Well, the only thing I can see him being is because I see Albert being primarily in the slot, even though he can play the boundary, but I see him being primarily, I guess, the backup boundary guy because, everyone wants to throw him in the slot, but, he made his reputation off the boundary. The problem is, I think, it's not – I think his size, man. I think his size and, EM's highlighted, his hand placement. So I just think my issue with him is you're no longer, I know you were popping off on the boundary in Texas Tech, but you're no longer against jabronis in college. Now you're against big boys who not only have a height advantage but have probably a size and a strength advantage on you as well. And yeah, I just, when you talk about when your technique, like when you're outsized, your technique better be flawless. That's the only way you're gonna make up for that in any sense. And the fact is, it's not. And we're into year what now? So I don't think I like the kid. Is he worth $6 million? Probably not. Ridiculously fast, has a ton of potential, but I don't know if it's gonna. I don't know if he's not going to be what he was at Texas Tech at the NFL level. I don't think. But I can pretty much say that safely, I think, now.
Yeah, I mean, he's going into year 5.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, that's just big because
and he's not a Flores guy, so he better have a big year.
When you talk about, I think Tyreek Hill is the obvious comparison, just size and speed wise. But if you look at Tyreek Hill, he attacks the ball with a level of ferocity that I mean, I don't know if that's just not in his game. That's just not in his game.
He's small, but he can win jump balls against bigger and stronger defenders.
And also, I think Tyreek Hill game went to another level when he started to win at the line of scrimmage more. Because if you remember early on in his career, guys would just jam him, steamroll him at the line of scrimmage. He couldn't get off the line consistently. So now he's strong. You see how ripped up that dude is, a monster. And now you can't do that. So what do you do if you can't jam him? Okay, if you miss, if you attempt to jam, you miss. Oh, he's going right by you.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, even if you're really fast, you're only gonna mirror him for like 3 or 4 steps, and then he's gone.
And then if you play off, he's so shifty and quick. You know what I mean? The slant is gonna be open all day long. He's gonna eat you, and if you miss him, if you don't tackle him, he's going 80 yards. He's taking him to the house. Yeah. So he's complete now. There's no hole in his game. I'm not saying there's no holes in his game, but he's complete. He's a complete receiver now. And Jakeem Grant has struggled to get to that point. He has Tyreek's quickness. He has Tyreek's long speed. He doesn't have his technique, and he just don't have it at this point. So hopefully
he doesn't have that. Well, I won't say it, but Tyreek's a dog, and I haven't seen that from
highly competitive.
I agree. I agree.
Highly competitive. He's out here saying, "I'll race anybody in the NFL." Highly competitive.
Hey, and let me say this: all those people that tagged Jakeem Grant, and I think Jakeem Grant sent an emoji, but Jakeem Grant, that's your chance to put your name on the map with the whole league. Just go win that race. So, I
mean,
pop it off.
That's you win a race against Tyreek Hill. That's another contract. Just right there, strength.
I'd love to see Kirk Merritt call him out. I mean, I think Kirk.
I want to see Henry Ruggs call him out.
I'm down with Ruggs.
And even this kid who we just picked up off as a off the waiver wire. I mean, this kid is rumored to be clocked 4.18. They said they clocked him 4.18 at Auburn, 4.24 at Auburn.
He was lasered. Apparently, he was lasered at 4.18 at Auburn back in April.
That's it.
But there is an actual unofficial official time of 4.24.
I mean, that's still highly impressive.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
One thing I like about Jakeem Grant though is that he's very hard to tackle when he's in stride. He's good at breaking tackles that way. Once he's like in stride, he's hard to tackle.
Yeah, I think the main issue is the situations that you can get him the ball enough in where you can take advantage of that, because if he's not necessarily a guy that's going to get off the line, he's not a guy that's going to run routes.
I think that's what's so frustrating about the situation is kind of what Shake Money pointed out there. He's really dynamic when you get the ball in his hands, but it's so frustrating trying to get the ball into his hands.
Yeah, and at times, just keep it a buck. He's a liability when it comes to the punt returns. Yeah. When it comes to fumbling, he's at times he has great potential, but at times he's a liability when it comes to punt returns, and that's something
I agree.
I don't know what Kirk Merritt projects as a return man, but his tenacity when it comes to attacking the ball as a wide receiver, I think that'll carry over in terms of his ability, particularly with his hands, when it comes to being on the return team, which, you're talking about the first, his rookie season. That's where he's going to get a lot of burn if he makes the team. You got to use him. If you're going to put Kirk Merritt on the team, you got to use him somewhere. You can't just have him, collecting dust on the bench. So, I mean, I'm more up on Merritt than I would say I am on Grant, because I don't know if he's going to get to that point where he can be a legitimate wide receiving threat outside of the measurables for us.
And
After
again,
5 years.
At $6 million. $6 million.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The other thing is, too, you got one on a UDFA contract, you got another one at $6 million, and you don't know what the cap is going to be over, and you really probably want to roll over as much money as you can into next year.
Mm-hmm. But also, I mean,
that's an interesting point to have it.
There are very untalented GMs in this league. So, who's to say you can't call up a Detroit, or you can't call up a whoever is running Cleveland right now. It's hard to keep track of who's running Cleveland these days, but a guy with his measurables, you'll find someone that'll bite. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I could see what kind of compensation.
Texas players.
What kind of compensation you think Jakeem Grant will warrant?
I mean, you're gonna have to make a pitch based on his measurables, not on his production, because as a guy that's been in the league for 5 years with less than 10 starts, it's gonna be hard to sell him as a wide receiver. I'll say it like that.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's man. Reason we haven't even brought Jakeem Grant up. This is an interesting conversation, bro. Wow.
I mean, people think it's a foregone conclusion because he's got $6 million, but you slice that in half, that's $3 million dead cap. We can swing that. That's all I'm saying.
Mm.
Not trying to stir the Dolphins pot, but I like it.
They got rid of Jones.
You just did. You just did. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I just automatically Huh?
What's that?
I said, where do you see Wilson then? Where do you see Wilson?
The slot.
Oh. Yeah. I think Albert Wilson's position, at least this year, is solidified.
Wide receiver 3. He's wide 3.
Yeah. I think he's done enough to cement himself at that position.
See, here's my thing. This is my thing. I actually want to see a lot of 4 receiver sets, and this is why I want to see a lot of 4 receiver sets. I want Preston and Devontae on the boundary, but I want them to rotate those slots. I want to run double slots, and I want them to rotate those slots with my dream scenario is Albert on one side, Merritt on the other, and then when you want to switch them out, you go with the poor man's version of Gronk and Hernandez with guys like Gesicki and Adam Shaheen, which is, Adam Shaheen is that really, 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 really poor man's version of Gronk where he can block, but he's also athletic and he can do things in open space. And then you got Gesicki who can be that Aaron Hernandez where just run routes, get an open space, make things happen. So I want to throw either 4 huge guys that could make things happen with the 2 tight ends, with the 12-man personnel, or I want to go fully with, 2 killer burners with Wilson and Merritt in that slot, and then 2 football players on the boundaries with Preston and Devontae, who are no slouches with their 40 times as well, but who got that explosiveness. I look at it this way. You got all guys who are explosive, fast, etc., but the speed and the yak is in the middle. The high point, fast guys are on the outside. So that to me is like a perfect blend when I look at just the athletic profiles of if Merritt can live up to what I hope he's going to be, because I've been saying for time I think he's going to make this roster. If he can live up to that, to me, that's the perfect set for me.
I want the approach to be, I want them to fully establish that power run game. I want them to duplicate somewhat of what the Tennessee Titans did last year. You know what I mean? I'm a fan. I want to see. I know, the talent that we have with Tua. I know it's so enticing, and I want to see him, sling the ball all over the field. Putting up crazy statistics like he did at Alabama. But I think early on this year, I just think that if they establish that power ground and they establish that mentality, okay, and they get that kind of production on the ground, I think that, and in terms of the passing game, if they play off of the running game, I think that'll be beneficial to any quarterback that we have. Because you don't even know because I think if you look at the profile of these guys, of the linemen that we brought in, if you're going to implement, here's another thing. If you're going to try to go in and implement a spread concept, these guys have shown, that they've struggled playing in space.
Not our tackles.
Well, they're rookies. They're, it's going to be a learning curve. Even if Jesse Davis, he could improve. This is based off what they did in the past, but this could all change this year. We could see significant improvement up front. But I think based off the profile with the size of these guys, the average size is like 325 now. I think the ideal approach, and again, I could be totally off base, but I just think the establishment of a running game, that power, that number one, that mentality, that power running game, I just think it'll overall benefit.
But that's where
whatever quarterback we have.
When I was talking about the 4 set with the tight ends, that's what I was talking about when I was highlighting their blocking in terms of the Shaheen, because all I can do is I can show 4 with Howard in the back, and then I can motion in Shaheen, and all of a sudden I got 6 along that line. Gesicki's still in the slot, and I got those 2 boundary guys. And then with that slot set that I'm talking about with Merritt and Albert, I can throw Breda back there, and I can either bring him out of the backfield in passing situations, or he's got enough vision, he's quick enough where he can make something happen on the ground with that quicker set of receivers.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about out of traditional formations. I'm talking about power eye.
Yeah, you want like
about traditional eye formation, weak eye power, strong.
EM wants to bring back the wishbone.
No.
Hey, let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Okay, let's say you do a 4 wide out set like you just mentioned, with the 2 guys on the outside and who are the 2 in the middle, Preston and Park on the outside.
And then I go a power set with the 2 tight ends and Howard in the back, and then I got a bit of a speed set with Merritt and Wilson, and then Brady in the back.
4 wide receivers.
Yeah, Preston and Devontae.
Yeah. So how would let's say, would it be feasible to put, let's say, Preston and Devontae in the middle? So either the cornerbacks follow the lesser 2 guys on the outside, or put the cornerbacks in a kind of awkward position to put them in the middle.
I mean, I would keep Preston and Devontae on the boundaries. That's where
because they're high point, but also the thing is when when you look at, okay, so basically if you go kind of my whole thing behind this is I'm kind of, especially with that speed set, I'm kind of matching it to kind of what Alabama runs in terms of, if I'm going with that speed set, I want to kill you with slants and underneath concepts, and just those are going to be yak. It's going to be yak based. If I'm going with Gesicki and Shaheen, I'm either showing pass, but one's going to motion in the block, or when I'm sending out there, basically big bodies getting space that are hard to take down and athletic. With Devontae and Preston, the reason why I'm sticking them to the outside is because I think there are 2 best high point catchers, and I also think even if you move them into the slot, DB1, DB2 on other teams are probably going to move inside to mirror. I don't think they're just going to let Devontae move inside and just let some jabroni slot corner get eaten up by Devontae all day.
Yeah. I mean,
I like me personally, I like bigger receivers
on the outside.
On the inside, being deployed on the inside a lot because they're especially.
So being that the jabroni, I'm sorry, but being that the good guy is gonna mirror these guys into the inside, wouldn't that give Jakeem a better shot on the outside because he's gonna be getting lesser corner on him?
I mean, yeah, it could, but like EM pointed out, that corner might not be fast, but all that corner needs to really do is know how to jam at the line, basically play off his bad forehand technique, and the route's already dead before it even starts. And then you got to also think that ball's got to be out in 2.5 to 3 seconds, 2.8 seconds. You want it out. You don't got time for this guy to get jammed, then regain his footing, and then go run the route. You're going to be off that read. And by the time he gets his ish together and he's starting to get it going, you're probably already on your third read, fourth read, or that ball's already gone.
Yeah. Also, it goes to say, that Alabama offense, it had a lot of balance to it. They had a guy named Najee Harris out there with Tua, and he's projected to be I don't know how first rounder, but a second, third round type
first, second.
At the run back position. So they were able to employ a level of balance to their offense. So I'm not looking to have Tua out here just air it out all day like it's 1984. We gotta, if you want to set up the RPO, you got to set up the run first.
Exactly.
Or else you're just taking time off your ability to take reads because the defense isn't really gonna respect.
They're not gonna respect their run game. Exactly.
The whole point is you got to respect the run for the RPO to work.
And see, I tell people all the time, they think this RPO concept is like, all the RPO is play action based out of pistol or shotgun formations. That's all it is. It's just play action. So again, the establishment of run game, that's why it's paramount this year. You can't, like you just said, you can't have RPO without the threat of the run. You can't. Yeah. It's impossible.
Well, it's literally the first word in RPO.
yeah, exactly.
This is where a guy like Jordan Howard comes.
But when you start getting that rolling, basically just out of my equation, I'm taking out the fullback. I don't think Chandler Cox is going to be a difference maker for this offense going forward, especially when you got a Landon Roberts who could really play if you need to throw a fullback out there.
Good point.
I agree. And if you look at the sets where I did, Breda matches that speedy set and Howard matches that power set where you got tight ends that can come in and block and motion in and add to that line. So that's where I'm at with that. Like, I'm not saying I want this to be their base, but I know if we're seeing 4 receiver sets, especially run out of the RPO, they've established the run. So,
yeah. And if we can, that is the $1 million question.
I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it.
Can the O-line exert their will upon the opposing D-line and actually give us a running game so we don't have to lean on our quarterback to get us the yards like we needed last season. We couldn't. Fitzpatrick, he was out there running for his life for the most part. I guarantee you, if you at the beginning of the season, his intention was not to be the leading rusher on this team. That was not in his game plan or the coach's game plan before the season started. So if we can actually establish a run game where we can actually, heaven forbid, we get ahead and then we can run the ball and actually milk that clock out and, stack up some wins that way, as opposed to, we're dropping back, but we're really looking to run the ball a little bit. That only plays to our favor. But it all comes down to the O-line. Can they exert their will? I think a guy like Hunt, he can do that immediately, particularly when you're talking about the run game. I'm not worried about Hunt. The only question about Hunt is his footwork and his ability to play at the tackle position. But even if it doesn't work out there, he'll be just fine at right guard.
So and you wanna and linemen always, you ask any lineman, they'd rather run block than pass block all day.
Yeah.
So I just think that, I just think obviously the establishment of a run game is the most important thing offensively, but I just think, out of more traditional sets, your I formations, and I think that approach would be the most advantageous for us early on. Now, as they gel, as the offensive line gels later down the season, as the season progresses and they get, players get better, players develop. Okay, well then you open it up at that point. And then also, we talked Reason talked about Fitzpatrick, his arm dies in second half of seasons. If you establish that running game, that'll protect him. A reason why his arm dies, he's throwing the ball 30 times a game. You know what I mean? So if you establish a running game where he can, as opposed to throwing it 30, he's throwing it 15 to 20. His arm, that'll protect that arm, that dead arm.
Yeah.
So that's the quarterback's best friend, in my opinion.
At the end of the day, Father Time is undefeated. And Fitzpatrick, he's in the ring with Father Time, 37 years old. I'm actually surprised how reckless he can be with his body for someone of his age. I mean, it's almost like the football instincts take over the logic. The logic would say you're 37 years old, you don't need to be out here diving in the end zone for a team that's winning 5 games. But once again, ball is ball. You can't tell him not to do it. You can tell him not to do it, but if you're 2 yards away from the touchdown, 10 times out of 10, he's going to make a move to get that touchdown. And I think that is why a lot of times fan bases fall in love with him. Is he's a gamer at the end of the day.
And him taking on contact as well. Remember
last year
you saw him trucking DBs and taking on contact from linebackers. I was like, man, come on. 37 years old, bro. That might not be the most ideal approach. Fitz, come on now. He did. So hopefully.
But the one thing I like about Fitzpatrick, the one thing I did like about Fitzpatrick is even he was down 30 points, he's still like, come on, we still got this. We still got this. No matter how long he was down, he was always trying to get them to come back in the game. He never wavered or played woe as me. And that's one thing that I admire about him.
Yeah. And at least for me, that's why I hope we can have a nice seamless transition where, Tua takes the reins at some point and you have Fitzpatrick under contract, but in reality, he's effectively, your quarterback coach. Because while you have him in the building under contract as a player, you might as well as set up your transition plan. Because if when he retires, his phone's going to be ringing from a number of teams that would like to bring him into the fold as a coach.
I agree.
So if we can just keep him, maybe you just give him, a little deal where you say, hey, we're not looking for you to be out here throwing balls. You're going to put on the uniform. You're going to practice. Tua's going to take the reins. And as you retire, you're going to slide right into a position on the coaching staff.
How do y'all feel about, them, not, putting training wheels on Tua and throwing them out there? How do y'all feel about that?
For me, I don't think Flo is going to give him anything at the end of the day. I don't think Flo is going to give anybody anything at the end of the day. So if he comes out here and he is the starting quarterback, I will be thoroughly convinced that he earned it. Thoroughly convinced that he went out there, he did what he had to do, and he earned it. Because if there's one thing that I do trust, it is Flores' ability to evaluate talent. Considering even before he was a coach in the NFL, he was a long time scout, right? Very similar to like Eric Spoelstra with the Heat. He was in the basement in the computer writing up scouting reports. So his talent evaluation is really his base. So if Tua can come in and every day get better and better and better, and every day earn the coach's trust, where we get to week 1 and then Flores can sit in front of a gaggle of reporters and say, he's the guy, I'm with it. But for me, I'm not pressed to push the timeline on it. You know, if he earns it, you got to give it to him. But, you know, if for whatever reason, you know, a veteran quarterback is a better option, then I'm with that too. But I'm not for putting him in a position when we don't have to. I'll say it like that, because this isn't like Madden where it's like, oh man, we gotta get him his dev trait by week 4. We gotta get his X factor by week 7. You know what I mean? Like we're playing a long-term plan with this guy. We're gonna look like a bunch of fools talking about, oh man, in week 5 of Tua's career. We're like, oh man, there was a huge controversy. Week 1, week 4, week 7. I mean, ultimately, in the long-term scheme of things, I know as a fan base, because we haven't had, you know, a real quarterback in quite a while, but I shouldn't say that. Tannehill was a real quarterback, but you know what I mean in terms of, you know, Pro Bowl, All-Pro type of caliber of talent. You want to drive the Corvette straight off the lot with no gas in the tank. Just let Flores put some gas in the tank first.
Yeah.
Then, you know, then we can make sense of it. But we haven't even got the training camp yet. So training camp will solve all these problems for us. Everyone out here training camp's going to solve all those problems for us.
And may I add too that one thing that drives me crazy is how they say, oh look, Bruce Arians says you don't learn nothing by holding a clipboard. Well, Brian Flores has been on record saying that he believes that a player can learn by sitting. He brought up Patrick Mahomes in a press conference. He brought up Aaron Rodgers, and he brought up Tom Brady. So obviously, Brian Flores does believe in sitting the quarterback to learn, to develop. So that's out of his own mouth. And I could send you the link to that press conference if you need me to.
Yeah.
And that's a good point, Shake, because you have these individuals out here trying to spin this narrative that if Tua doesn't beat out, if he's not starting week 1, there is a reason for concern, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be crazy if you applied that same standard to Steve Young.
Yeah, I know, right?
What about Dan Marino?
Right. Dan Marino. We don't need to go outside the organization. Dan Marino.
Yeah, I mean,
so it's ridiculous.
That's a high bar. You talking about if you're not a all pro from day 1, what was the point? I mean, you can't put that on someone day 1. you for progress.
And you have a lot of our fan base, bro. What I'm fearful of is they're putting these unrealistic expectations on a kid. Number one, he hadn't even taken a snap yet, and he's a rookie. Look at the laundry list of quarterbacks, Hall of Fame quarterbacks that have struggled in their rookie year. Will Tua come in? Do I anticipate him coming in and throwing 30 touchdowns? Absolutely not. It doesn't happen.
The rookie record is 26, and when it was set by Peyton Manning,
26 interceptions too.
Yeah, 28.
And Baker Mayfield tied it a couple years ago, but like no rookie quarterback has ever thrown 30 or 40 touchdowns.
30 touchdowns. How is that realistic?
Dude, okay, here. This is what we guys are. I'm going to tell you. Realistic projection if Tua starts all 16 games in his first season, guys. 3,200 yards-ish, 32, 33, 3,400 yards. I would say 22 touchdowns and 9 to 11 interceptions. 22 to 24 touchdowns and 9 to 11 interceptions.
I agree with that 100%.
That's what your projection. 32 to 3,400 yards, 22 to 24 touchdowns, and 9 to 11 interceptions. That's a pretty safe projection.
I will be perfectly happy with that.
All 16 games, though, people.
Yeah.
All 16 games.
With that. And you're talking about if that's true, you're talking about an even heavier emphasis on the run game if he started all 16 games.
And see, and I think that would be, again, that's benefit for any quarterback that we have, but especially a rookie. when you have a running game that can consistently get 4.5 yards, hopefully 5, you know what I mean? That is a quarterback's best friend. But these people, you have a lot of our fan base they're just they're putting these unrealistic expectations on this kid. And I could hear him now. If he don't throw for 30 touchdowns, 4,000 yards, finish 5th in total QBR, they're gonna start hollering, calling no buzz. It's ridiculous. I can see him. I see him already setting the narratives up. First, now it's starting with, if he don't beat out Ryan Fitzpatrick, if he ain't starting day one, we need to be concerned about it. Stop it. It's ridiculous. I tell you, it's ridiculous.
Can I bring up another point too? Check this out. Albert Wilson, in 2000, the previous year before Brian Flores came in there, had a lesser hip injury than Tua. The following year, on training camp, he was 100% healthy, but he didn't really start playing like himself until week 8. So can you imagine Tua with a more severe injury? That, you know what I'm saying? It's going to take, I'm sure he's healthy, but it's going to take him a little more longer to get acclimated into the game speed like Wilson did.
Yeah. I mean, also, you got to take into account the speed of the game in terms of from the quarterback position in regards to other positions on the field is way different. If you talk to any quarterback, any rookie quarterback, they'll tell you the hardest thing to adjust to is the speed of the NFL. When, you're talking about in college, there are only a handful of guys on the field that are running like a Jerry Jeudy or that are running like a Henry Ruggs. You're talking about an NFL. Everybody's got that speed. Everybody's got the measurables. Everyone was an all-star on whatever team they came from in college for the most part. So for me, it's just like if he comes out and shows that he can do it, great. But even if he is starting, it ain't like Tua's going to air it out 35, 40 times a game. It's going to be a very heavy. I mean, regardless of whether it's Tua or Fitzpatrick, you're going to see a heavy emphasis on the run game this season. A heavy emphasis on the run game. So, and that's
the key to success, I think. To be honest with you,
I
think that if we're balanced, if we can establish, if we're balanced in our offense, I think again, like I said, that'll be, I think, we'll have a successful season in terms of like even making the playoffs. You know what I mean? Maybe even challenging for the division. I truly believe. I'm convinced of that. I really am.
Everything's up in the air this year. I'll tell you that much.
I agree.
Yeah. So how's the pack searching going? You found that what's that? You looking for a Tua encrusted in diamonds? What is that?
Looking for a Tua auto.
Okay.
Rookie. I literally right now figuring out I literally just had. I'm not even joking. That's why I'm silent right now. I literally I'm on eBay because I just had someone. Here, I'll show you guys. I literally just had someone accept an offer. So
okay,
I got 120 cards, 2 autographs guaranteed from Chronicles Panini. I'm about to pay for this right now. That's running me a cool, including shipping is a ridiculous from eBay people. For internationally, I got to pay shipping and I got to pay an import charge. I get absolutely bent over the table. So, it's costing me in total about 180 Canadian. And then I got 2 Prism. I got a Prism Mega box with 60 and one on average 1 auto. So there could be more autos in there coming with a couple CeeLo packs. Then I got a Sage hitbox with 4 autos guaranteed. And then I got 2 2020 College Contender mega boxes with 2 guaranteed autos in each coming in. So, yeah, I'm starting to spend a pretty penny. So hopefully I hit.
The solid investment, bro.
Well, you know, even if you don't look at what Burrow, like, guys, there's from the Chronicles set alone, like there's some hits that are going like some tool, like obviously sticker autos are still worth money, but if you can get an on-card auto of like a Joe Burrow or a Tua, that thing is going for like $1,600 right now, US.
Hey,
so like there's some crazy money out there right now. In just Tua and Burrow cards. It's stupid. It's absolutely stupid.
Yeah, man. I mean, you get it now because the price ain't going down anytime soon.
No.
Hey, can we talk about the college players opting out for a minute?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Shake.
What do you think of guys like I'm going to bring up Kyle Trask that were he was, you know, his draft stock was rising before this COVID happened. Now, what do you think it's going to hurt them or it's going to help them because a lot of players, the good players, are opting out?
I think there's going to be a lot of gems in the draft next year because there are a number of teams that aren't going to be playing this year. I believe there are a number of teams that will not be playing this year. So, you know, these pro days that these different schools have, it's going to be an open season for your gem finders like Greer and Flores, I believe, and I think we're uniquely positioned to take advantage of it because if guys aren't playing, you know, you're not going to find a lot of guys that are going to break out. You know, guys that may not be on your board right now, but when it comes to draft, you know, they're being talked about first, second round. So for me, it's an opportunity for teams that value scouting to really take advantage of a situation where you can get guys at a bargain basement rates, basically, is what I would say.
Yeah, because you have your Kyler Murrays and your Joe Burrows. They weren't really talked about their junior years, but their senior years is when their draft stocks flew through the roof, you know?
Well, particularly Joe Burrow. I mean, they've been talking about Kyler Murray since high school. Like he's, you know, Texas high school legend from what I understand.
Yeah, he's from Allen.
Okay.
I remember seeing his highlights on you know, on the news and everything. I never seen him play in person, but yeah, he's from Allen, Texas.
Yeah, from what I understand, I mean, he tore apart all the high school records in Texas. So
yeah, definitely.
You know, we're gonna have to see. But I'm actually about to get out of here. I'm gonna go ahead and eat some dinner. So y'all have a good night, man.
Late dinner, bro. What are you eating at?
I know, right?
Bro, you know I live in the city that never sleeps, right?
Are you going to get a slice of pizza right now, bro?
I'm gonna get a slice of whatever's in my fridge.
I hear you, man.
All right, bro.
Nice Cabernet.
Be easy.
All right.
And yo, just to answer your question, quick, Shake, before we get out of here. Sorry, I was just confirming this payment and handling this ish. Like my issue with like look at a guy like Kyle Pitts. What are you gonna do? Because you know you're gonna be a first rounder. You could be a top 15, top 20 pick, but there are two others between Jordan Blevlin and what's his face and Pat Freiermuth from Penn State. There are two other guys you want to compete with, and you hopefully want to jump. So, when you talk about a guy like Kyle Trask, I don't think he could do enough to bring up his stock to threaten a Trey Lance or a Justin Fields or a Trevor Lawrence, anyways.
Yeah, but at least first round, second round, like a Jalen Hurts type of deal.
I think Kyle Trask. I think he's better than Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, one thing I liked about Kyle Trask is his pre-snaps. He was very good in pre-snaps. And also, when are we gonna when are you gonna do a stream? I don't care if I have to. I'll sponsor it or whatever. I don't care if but when we're gonna do a Gators content.
We'll figure something out, bro. That's a pretty touchy subject with all the UCF, all the
Arkansas Razorback fans,
all the FSU, all the Miami Hurricanes, all the Gator
Arkansas
fans.
Razorback fans.
Bro, no one in Florida cares about Arkansas.
The Arkansas Razorback fans.
I would love to see you do a Gators channel because, I mean, there are some good ones, but like I said, I love your analysis and how you break down the films and make it digestible, you know?
Appreciate it, homie. Yeah, because, like, especially this year, there's, like, just with Trask and Pitts, there's some good Gators coming out this year. We'll see how CJ does. Honestly, bro, I don't know why. I just was never – I don't know, man. I like CJ, but I'm not – like, he's definitely better than Hargreaves, but I don't know how sold I am on CJ Anderson this year. But I do like Trask. The thing is, Trask, like, you know, when you go outside the top three, if you go back to – because I know you've been around going back to TD, I'm a big Jamie Newman guy from Wake Forest. So when he transferred to Georgia, you know, EM can attest for this. I was like, yo, this kid's going to blow up. And I think Tanner Morgan, because a guy who I'll talk about right now, I don't know if any of y'all have watched him, Rashad Bateman from Minnesota. I think he's also going to prop up Tanner Morgan a little bit. Tanner Morgan's a decent quarterback too. But Rashad Bateman, guys, I don't know, man. I like Rondell Moore, but Rondell Moore 5'9", and I don't know if I can draft a 5'9" guy in the top 5, top 10 at that position when Bateman on film, and you heard it here first. I don't know why, but I see Odell Beckham Jr. when I look at Rashad Bateman. I don't know what it is, but I just see that body frame, the breakaway speed when he gets the ball in his hands. He just looks like Odell Beckham, and I got a feeling that Rashad Bateman, Jalen Waddle, and possibly Devontae Smith might be the cream of the crop for this class, receiver-wise. But yeah, Gator Channel, we'll see because I'm going to be making an announcement soon that I am taking on another more generalized NFL podcast, and it's actually going to be part of a publications network. So I'm going to be teaming with a Niners fan and a Green Bay fan, so this should be interesting. But yeah, so we'll see, man. Just time pending, basically, for me.
All right, I'm gonna say goodnight, folks. But before I leave, I got actually one last Gator related question. Who are your before I go? Who are your three hated teams? And good night, guys.
All right, Shake.
What was the question?
I have no idea.
Was our three hated teams? I think it was.
I have no idea.
What are you zoned out right now, bro?
You want me to be honest with you? You want me to lie to you?
Okay. I think yes. Oh, three teams that you love to hate. Well, I hate the Bills just because of the proximity for me. I hate the Patriots, and I hate the Cowboys.
Oh, yeah, Cowboys is definitely number one for me. Always has been. I don't know why, but man, always been number one. Public enemy number one for me.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the Los Angeles Lakers. Does it have to be football related?
I think it's college football. He's talking about college football.
Oh, college football.
Man, teams that I hate in college football.
I really don't have any that I just like hate, bro. Well, when I was in Arkansas, back in the day, Texas and Arkansas was a huge rivalry.
It still is, even the state, right?
It still is. Yeah, it still is. But Arkansas hadn't been relevant in quite some time since Bobby Petrino left. But damn, I really don't have a college team that I like hate, to be honest with you. But if we're gonna go pro team, just got to be Cowboys, Los Angeles Lakers for me, and probably the New England Patriots.
Oh, if we're going just pure pro teams, for me it would be the Philadelphia Flyers, the New England Patriots, and yeah, probably the Buffalo Bills. But if we're going college, man, do I even hate? I don't know if I even – because I watch so many players from so many different teams that I don't know if I can hate. Like, you know what I mean? Because I'm not as invested in the NFL. I'm more invested in the players. Like, I'm a Gators fan, more invested in the players than I am the actual teams because of just film and stuff like that. But, man, who do I don't know if I really can.
I don't think I have any into college teams that I hate, bro. I mean,
yeah.
I don't.
Like, there's players I don't like, but I guess, you know what, I will say, but I can't even say Oklahoma because I was a huge Kyler guy when he was there, and I really liked Baker when he was there too.
And
I guess I'm not a huge Texas A&M guy, and that was why I was kind of like when we got to NHL too, I was kind of like, eh. Like, I wasn't a huge Manziel guy, but it's more so like teams that I hate is more so players that have come through there left a bad taste in my mouth for the team.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I guess they're talking hockey right now. Rhino says the Knicks, the Jets. Who else? The Knicks, the Jets, and the Yankees, and the Gators. EM's buddy Big Boy says Alabama, Florida, and Ohio State. Nico says Pats, Lakers, and Dodgers. Jazza says the Astros. Aqua says Lakers, don't crush Spurs. Shake Money, Georgia, and FSU. FM, no, we won't be doing live reactions to the game. But guys, a little bit of info will drop here for you guys. We'll be going live after the games in the regular season, guys. So stick to us because we're post-game analysis. Guys, we're going to be doing post-game analysis in between the time the game ends to the time we're going to find a time slot between after the game ends and when Sunday Night Football before this and go till before the start of Sunday Night Football. And guys, what we'll do is we'll give you a 40-minute analysis recap of the game, things we saw, notes we took, etc. And then we're going to open it up to all you guys, bro. It's going to be for you guys to come on, give your immediate reactions to either the win or the loss, vent, celebrate, whatever you want to do. So after we're done that recap, the link will already be in the stream, and it'll be all for you guys to come on and just vent and do whatever you want to do. Like so many post-game radio shows you guys have heard in the past or whatever. This is going to be the YouTube Dolphins version, guys. We're going to give you our post-game analysis, and then you guys come on here. You give us your analysis, your opinions, your thoughts, what you hate, what you didn't like, vent, celebrate, whatever you want to do, guys. So,
ball game is going to be a big part of that as well.
Yeah, that's another thing too. It's already been confirmed. It's going to be your boy, EM, and ball game, and then we'll have you guys come on one by one. And guys, this is how serious we are. Don't mind how effed up everything's going to look right now, but look, guys, we already got the graphic made for Reason EM, Mr. Ballgame, and special guest. And that special guest is going to be one of you guys, and we'll just basically give you guys a few minutes, say what you got to say. We'll go through it, we'll talk about it, and then we'll move on to the next person, guys. So, man, I hope to see y'all come through, especially during the season, man. We think that show, y'all are going to really like that.
Hopefully we'll have people that come on, that's been, riding with us since day one. Your Rhinos of the world.
Nico.
Nico,
Infinite Trauma, Pyromancer, Fake Spike, all those guys.
All those. Hopefully, they'll get enough courage to come on the stream, man, and
put a face to the name.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So,
all right, guys, man,
it'll be a lot of fun.
3-hour, 20-minute mark. I know I'm tired. Anything else you want to say before we get out of here, brother?
Another good one, bro. Another good stream on the books, and shout out to the homie Havoc and Shake Money coming through and giving some valuable insight, and appreciate all the love and support from everybody again, as always, in the comment section. Whether you love us or hate us, you showed up, so it's greatly appreciated.
Another thing, Rhino, can you confirm? Do we have 11 dislikes? Can one of you, my mods, can you guys confirm what the dislikes are? Are you guys telling me these guys used all 10 of their channels to swap over and hit the dislike button on each of them? What was I going to say? There was something I was going to add to that, what you just said. Oh, number 12. There you go. How many likes we got, Rhino? Hit me with how many likes we got. Nico says all the two haters. Give me because I'm going to challenge you. Mine says 69. All right, we're at 69 likes, okay? So I'm going to challenge each and every one of you that watches this video. Hit that like button. Let's get this to 120 likes. Let's time the 12 dislikes right now. Let's times that by 10. All right? Give me 10 times the amount of likes as we got dislikes right now. So I want 120 likes, guys. That's the goal. It also helps us in the algorithm, so we appreciate it. And to all of y'all, because there's about 40% of y'all that account for our views, hit the subscriber button, you non-subscribers. Last I checked, we're 19 away. Just hit that like button. I know what it is. It's other people and their minions, and it's all good, man. Sometimes truth hurts. It is what it is. But hit that like button, help us get in the algorithm, tune out these haters. It is what it is. And each and every one of you, you don't even have to donate to PayPal. The fact that y'all take the time to spend 1, 2, 3 hours with us, chop it up in the comments, ask questions. Man, we love and appreciate each and every one of you, even the ones that we don't agree with your takes or opinions. The fact you take time to show up, Pete, and add your view and just add your comments and your opinions. Man, we still got love for you, man. It ain't nothing. There ain't no animosity. There ain't no hate over here. Even for the people that hate on us, it's all good, man. It's all love because, we'll just kill them with success and kindness at the end of the day.
I'm not, as far as Pete is concerned, I'm not willing to go that far. He still get on my goddamn nerves, but but it's all good though. It's all good. It's all good. So
it is, man.
Hey, everything is greatly appreciated, everybody. Appreciate everybody, man.
Yeah, man. I just wanted to shout all of y'all out because so many of you consistently come through and show love, and man, I just want y'all to know that y'all are why we keep doing this. And guys, Friday night, we're still gonna confirm the time. Josh Houts should be here, so we'll work on that.
Yeah.
And then next week, Brian and the whole crew, the duo from On the Phinside, guys, the four of us, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be popping EM. I don't even know what else to say. We got Phinside, the NFL with a P, and On the Phinside with an F. You know what I'm saying? And all I got to say is, man, Paul, Brian, can't wait to have them on, man. It's going to be a pretty good show, bro.
Absolutely. I've been following them for years as well.
Yeah, man. Y'all go hit them. Y'all go hit them up on YouTube if you don't know who they are. On the Phinside, man. They take the kind of same analytical approach that we do, so we'll make that pop off, man. But end of the day, we are 3.5 hours almost. We love each and every one of you. Appreciate y'all who donate. Shout out to Damian Deese, because I wasn't able to shout him out about 25 minutes ago when he made the donation but he made a $20 donation. We appreciate you, homie.
Shout out to you. Salute to you.
There it is, baby. All right, guys. We appreciate each and every one of you. We'll see you Friday. Even if something happens and he ain't coming through, we'll be here either way. But so far, expect shoutouts. We'll keep y'all updated. And we love each and every one of y'all. We'll see y'all Friday. All right, people?
All day, every day, baby.